I don't know how long this is going to take to go live, but by the time you're hearing this, I should be live. Alright, so how is everyone doing? I'm not sure how to start. Like maybe with a ukulele thing. Yes, it is a stream, Princess Melissa. Because, you know, why would I? I've got a lot that I want to go over. You know, it's a lot. I feel like making a video. I don't know. I mean, I could. Maybe, but then there's the thing where I'd have to make the video, edit the video. Whereas in a stream, I can just be off the off the cuff. So let me start with the first question, because you know the title has a couple of questions in it. The first question is, am I okay? And the answer to that is, compared to baseline levels, and depending on what you're talking about, not really. So on Twitter, I did post a picture, and I did try to alleviate people's worries by saying that whilst not feeling 100%, I'm feeling a lot better, implying that I'm getting, I'm not terrible, but people were still worried. Let me switch to this. So yeah, this is a photo of me in the hospital. Now, what happened is on Trans Day of Visibility, and that just so happened to be Easter. Or Easter Sunday. There's a few Easter days that exist. I had a lot of stomach pain. Now, to start out with, I was thinking, okay, well, this will pass. I just need to clear my body of wind, basically. But it didn't pass. And I ended up throwing up. And after throwing up, I was starting to wonder, like, what is this? And I was thinking, okay, well, I could go to the hospital, but is it serious enough to go to the hospital? And I had no clue whether it was serious enough to go to the hospital. I decided, well, okay, it's been a few hours since it started, and so I decided to go into the hospital, see if there's any issues. So I went to the hospital, and when I was at the hospital, I actually threw up like 3 times. The first 2 times were in the waiting room. I think it took them about half an hour to an hour to see me. I wasn't exactly keeping track of time. I was more keeping track of, not being in too much pain. Then anyway, they saw me, and now the worrying thing is that everything was fine, which is like, you'd think that wouldn't be a worry, but no, everything was fine, and so they said that it was probably something to do with my stomach producing too much acid, because everything was fine. So yeah, they gave me some medication for that, and some anti-nausea medication. Now, one of the annoying things is that yesterday was Easter Monday, and I had been discharged from the hospital at, I think it was about, like 10:30, maybe? Anyway, I went home, and by that time I was feeling a lot better. But, you know, I'm still not feeling 100%. I still have some... It's not really soreness. It feels like... Like... This is a thing that... This is a thing that might not make a whole lot of sense. But... I kind of feel like the Marshmallow Man. Or no, the Michelin Man, you know, where, like, it kind of feels like parts of my body are disconnected, and if I move around too much, then part of it is going to fall off, or fall out. That's, even though I know that it's, you know, I know it's not going to. And that's currently how I feel. So, yeah, does that make sense? Like, am I making sense right now, or are people very confused about the analogy or something that I'm trying to draw? I don't know. You're not able. Okay, we've got one person who's not confused. That's good enough for me. Sounds like the... Oh, okay. Okay, apparently people have no clue. The idea is it kind of feels like... It feels like part of me is about to fall out. So OB says it makes sense. Abdominal issues are weird and scary. Yeah. It was one thing where I was... And like, I can go into a tangent here, actually, about the New Zealand healthcare system, because I feel like one of the worries that I had was wasting the doctor's time, you know. But at the same time, we do have free healthcare, at least if you go to the hospital. And so I was kind of in two minds about it, because on one hand, if it turns out to be nothing, I don't want to waste doctor's time, but at the same time, it was like, what if this is something worse? My father, for example, he had something that was worse and ended up dying because of that, because he didn't go to the doctor. He was like, it'll be nothing, and then he ended up dying. So I feel like sometimes you got to go, okay, well, it might be nothing, but it might be serious. Are you due for a checkup, or have they abandoned you? I don't think I'm due for a checkup. I'll probably just mention to my doctor that this happened. Abdominal problems are very hard to pinpoint. Yeah. Apparently I have a few gallstones, but the doctors said that, oh yeah, it's no issue. A lot of people have a few gallstones. It's when they get stuck in an area that it becomes a problem. Someone I know had stomach issues recently. They changed their diet, eliminating all cereal and eating meat and orange for breakfast instead. They did this a few days ago and now feel much better. Yeah, I don't think this is really a diet issue. Like, I don't think... I don't think it's... What did I eat before that? I had eaten pizza, homemade pizza. I would hope that has no issue, because the person who cooked the homemade pizza for me wants to cook more homemade pizza for me. And if it is the homemade pizza, well then look, if it happens next time after I have homemade pizza, then I know it's the homemade pizza, but I hope it's not. Gallstones can become dangerous. It gets painful. If it gets painful, yeah. Like, if I do have issues, more issues with stomach pains, like, I'll still go to the hospital when it gets bad enough, because, you know, as I said, like, I know I don't want to waste the doctor's time, and I don't want to, like, you know, every time I have pain, go in and be like, oh, this happened again, and then it turns out to be nothing again, you know. But at the same time, I don't want it to be something bad. Yeah, yeah. David Messer saying, get to the point. I thought I had gotten to the point. I'm okay. Well, when I say I'm okay, I'm doing better than I was. I'm not 100%. I wasn't able to get the medication that I had been prescribed. Okay, that's the wrong form. Okay, the right form is here. And they prescribed me omeprazole and Dancitron, basically anti-nausea medication, and yeah, I still feel a little bit nauseous, but you know. Anyway, why haven't I... So that was a few days ago, and I have a few tangents that I'd like to go on, but also people probably want to know where I've been in terms of uploading videos, and I have uploaded a few shorts. We're going to get to those, but the issue that I've had with uploading videos is simply it's been difficult to. When you've got a lot of noise. No, I didn't. I said, what did I say for nausea? It was Dancitron, not Zofran. Anyway, there's been a lot of noise, and that makes it. Like, okay, now you could try to argue, oh, just put up noise cancelling things, and there is a non-zero chance that noise will interrupt the stream. I hope it's not a thing that happens. No, it's not Dancitron. It's Dancitron. Is my accent really that hard to understand? Is it on Dancitron? I don't know. Doctors have really bad handwriting. If they mention a camera inspection, make sure it sounds correct. Well, I don't know what that means. Releases serotonin. Wait, did they just put me on a antidepressant? I actually have a thing that I want to talk about when it comes to that, but we'll get round to that. What was I saying? Oh, that's right. So it's been difficult because there's a lot of loud noises. I can't record when there's a lot of loud noises, and I'll when I record, I want to get things done. I'll block serotonin. Okay, let's hope that. Okay. So it's not an antidepressant, it's a depressant. Gotcha. Well, what was I... Oh, yeah. So when there's a lot of noise happening, it's something that's... Now, it's going to go away, right? If it doesn't go away, and I'm eternally stuck in this torture of... Let me put this back to... Yeah, there we go. Yeah, what was I saying about... and I'm stuck in this eternal torture of not being able to record videos. That's going to be a problem. And I'm not sure... I've got a lot of video ideas, which I will bring up because, there's also an issue with the video ideas that I want to do. And there is also a video that I've recorded part of, and then, I changed kind of how I... certain things changed and how I look, and it's okay, let's re-record that, and then and it's something where I do want to finish the video, but it's just been so hard to re-record, and it's why am I doing this to myself? Eventually, I did decide, okay, I'll put a few shorts out. At least people will know that I'm alive that way. I'm not dead. It would be... And with the going to hospital, if I had have... let's say it had been something bad and I had have died from that, that would be so awkward to try and explain. It's sure, he died from medical conditions, but that has nothing to do with why I didn't upload in a long time. If it's IBS, you may be stuck with it, but often it's controlled. I actually did have issues, and the issue that I had, and I don't want to go into too much detail because, you know, medical stuff, but like I actually had an issue from the spironolactone. Well, I'm pretty sure it's from spironolactone. I've stopped taking spironolactone and started taking cyproterone. And cyproterone has helped with this issue that I've had. So, yeah, one of the issues that I had, obviously I've had another issue since then. I actually, funnily enough, started taking this, and that immediately worked wonders. And it's like, I've never been so glad to, you know, I don't want to say too many words. I did come up with a joke about on Twitter about laxatives, and because spironolactone is what's known as a diuretic, and I was thinking, okay, well, they should call laxatives diuretics. You know, because a diuretic is when something that makes you pee. So, anyway, that's me mentioning bodily issues part over, hopefully. And hopefully I haven't scared too many people off. I see we're at 111 viewers, so if that goes down... like my comedy is top tier. Okay, we've gone down to 108 viewers. We're moving on. So yeah, basically, while I've been away, and actually, this is something I forgot. I was meant to record an April Fool's video yesterday. Now, some people did think that, I do know that some people at the start of the stream, or at the start of when I put the stream up, thought that this was going to be like an April Fool's stream. No, I'm being 100% serious. The only thing that's anything like a joke is the jokes that I've told, obviously, and the plane that's in the thumbnail. We're going to get around to that, by the way. Your comment is important to check. Let me see. Yeah, comments do go a bit far. Like, imagine checking to rectal display to see if it's a sign of cancer can be quite serious. Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm just gonna. Like, I know that nowadays trusting the doctors, and this is annoying, has turned into kind of a thing of don't trust the experts. But I'm gonna trust people that understand it more than me. I'm gonna trust that even though things do go wrong in medical settings, I'm going to trust that doctors know more than me, and that they're doing their due diligence to check that things are okay. You know, I'd much rather do that than go and being like, okay, have you checked this, that, and the next thing? Because at the end of the day, they're just trying to do their job. They're just trying to do their job, and going in assuming that you know better than them is just going to annoy them. Danastron is an anti-nausea. Yeah. I was making a joke when I said it's because someone said about reduces serotonin, or someone initially said it makes more super. What was I saying? I was Wait, I can't see. I wasn't suggest. Yeah, obviously I don't. Yeah, as I said, I'm just gonna trust that the doctors will know what's wrong with me. Works by blocking serotonin. And so it's like, okay, so it's depressant. Okay, we got it. Well, why so long to post anything? Well, because it's been hard to actually record anything. If I can't record anything, then it's... And to be fair, it's not just the noise, right? I have been trying to be a bit more social in my life. I've got a few friends. Well, I've always had friends, but I've got more friends than I think I've got more friends now than I've ever had. I think I have more close friends now than I've ever had. Where's the noise coming from? Outside. I thought it was over like last year, but wait, you have a real life? Putting friends of content? Well, cringe, yikes, yeah. But that being said, and there is something I do want to talk about, and there has been a slight block on, because like there is as a YouTuber, there's a lot of people say just make what you want to make, and I like that idea. However, that being said, there is content that sometimes just doesn't do too well. Now, this is a list of ideas that I have for what I want to make for videos. Let me go to this one here. And, oh geez, oh, that's not the right one. Let me just grab my display capture. Yes. Let's move that over a bit. These are some video ideas that I will want to do. Let's just wait. Let me put that back over because that could have technical things. All right, cool. So I want to make a video on the one thing that I think would probably be the one that I have been most considering making a video on is this one here, Dr. Phil's transphobia arc. Now, the problem with talking about transphobia is that like nobody who is trans wants to watch videos about transphobia. Like, you'd think that, you make a video about, you make a video about transphobia, you'd get, and sometimes you do get people who are trans that enjoy it, but nobody who is trans wants to watch a video about transphobia because it's just a reminder of how bad things are for trans people. But I also think that it's an important thing to talk about because the people that do make transphobic content, like, Walsh, and wait, who makes transphobic content? I mostly know Matt Walsh. But people who do make transphobic content, there's a few other people out there that I've heard of. They do get an audience because I feel like conservatives are okay with being made angry, whereas trans people don't want to be made angry. We want to, we want to be happy. We're living a life where, we're now able to live more as who we are, and being angry all the time, that is mentally taxing. So I feel like that's what can make it hard. Obviously, obviously everyone to some extent is susceptible to outrage. It's not angry for me; it's anxiety and existential dread. Yeah, exactly. Like feeling like the world is turning against you, and like I have that worry as well. But I also want to talk about it because I don't want, the narrative to be controlled by people that, do not have trans people's best interest at heart. And I feel like at the very least pushing back. Bill Maher is another one of those transphobes. But yeah, I feel like I want to make videos like this. But also, I don't want to make too many of them because, people don't want to watch them. Though to be fair, this one on Frank Turek and gender affirming care, it is It is funny. He's a hypocrite. I do need to. I think I've watched a genetically modified skeptic video twice. You sandwich it. Yeah, that is why whenever I do reading comments videos, even though I will have transphobic comments, I make sure, even if one of the focuses of the video is transphobia that I've received, I make sure that I always have comments that are positive, silly. Also, like, being able to see, I know people have enjoyed seeing themselves in the comments videos. I feel like people enjoy that. And sure, there's always transphobic comments in that. But I don't want to like lie and say, oh yeah, everything is, I just receive positive comments, because I don't. And I feel like it would be I feel like I saw something and misread it, and then, okay, dishonest to say that, it's, everything's great, because, sometimes things, it's part of life. The different videos are different because it's all sass. Yeah. I do try to be a bit more. I do have a bit more fun with the comment videos. Yeah. Anyway, some of the other. I have 3 different Jordan Peterson video ideas. Because I was actually. And it actually came from this one. One of them came from this one here. We need more. Yeah. I'm gonna try and make more videos. I have one that I need to re-record. Like it's and it's like the video is no longer topical, but I still want to get around to it. It's about the Odysseus landing and Level Earth Observer. But yeah. Anyway, this Matt Walsh's very unremarkable one, it's something that I've noticed, because I could, like, I feel like with Matt Walsh, I feel like he's, like, I've watched one of his streams, to, not the entire stream, but I was watching it and I was thinking, I could do this, right? But why, like, it's just, I have a problem with speaking, and I've tried to, speak without saying too many ums and ahs, but, it's very hard to do when you've got something like ADHD. I feel like I'm getting better at live speaking, though. And so, I feel like when it comes to Matt Walsh, he's unremarkable in the extent that I could do what he does. Right? It could be anybody. And maybe that's part of the allure of Matt Walsh. It could be any, like, cis white dude. But I feel like and he denies that he has ADHD, obviously, because he denies the existence of things, basically ADHD. I don't know if he denies autism, depression, that kind of stuff. He thinks it's all just in your head, and of course it's all just in your head, but that's where if you let's say that you got I don't know, let's say that your brain was the connections between your brain were separated. Honestly, that might all, yeah. If the parts of your brain got separated, it would be in your head, right? Anyway, and looking at stuff for that video, I came across a thing, and I haven't. If I bring this up, it's a discussion that he had with Jordan Peterson, and because I was thinking, there's a question I want to ask Jordan Peterson, and it is, does he think that antidepressants are a thing that is are either effective to use or something that is... but basically, does he think that they're either effective or something that should be prescribed? If his answer is no, then he's grifting. Because there is one thing... There is one thing that, when it comes to Jordan Peterson, I have agreed with, and he actually changed my mind on this. And that was when he said that, if you're suffering from depression, and you take something like SSRIs or something, or the doctor says that you should take wants to prescribe you SSRIs because you're feeling suicidal, or antidepressants because you're feeling suicidal, then you might as well take them, right? Even if you don't believe that they're going to work, because if you don't take them and you die, then that's going to there's nothing you can do about that. If you take them and then you don't feel good from them, then you can stop taking them. That's one thing that I have agreed with him on. And I've since seen more things about that have convinced me that yes, antidepressants are a thing, are a good thing. But I feel like I feel like that was one of the good takes that I've seen. In his field, he did all right. I don't know if he still does all right in his field, but outside of it, I've always thought that he's very lackluster and put on too high of a pedestal. So yeah, that's... So the reason why I want to watch that is because I know that Matt Walsh is very antidepressant. You're reformulating Pascal's wager. Yeah, I mean, it's not something that, to an average person, I can see how that would be, very convincing. And it's one of those things where, at the very least, I think that it's probably a good idea to take them, but I don't know if his stance has changed. Even, one person said placebo is a thing. Even if it's just a placebo effect, then it's still worth trying to prescribe them. All I remember offhand about Jordan is him saying, the up yours, woke moralists. Yeah, that was funny. There's actually, I just remembered a fourth one that I was thinking about making. And I don't know why Jordan Peterson has popped up so much lately. He had a conversation with Destiny, and I'm not a big fan of Destiny, but I feel like it was very much, and this is kind of why I want to ask a question to Jordan, because if it's not answered in his talk with Matt Walsh, and I kind of want to ask him that, because he seems like he's gone off the deep end. He said that no medical stuff is what's it called? He doesn't trust any pharma medicines or something like that. And it's really? That's just conspiracism at this point. Anyway, this video here, the toxic masculinity video, been a video I wanted to make for literally years at this point. It's just the fact that I need to script it. That's... Now, there are two videos that I think people will enjoy. Which is why I'm trying to think of more videos like this. Why Flat Earth has failed. And I have an idea for a collaboration. I'm not going to mention who it's with, which is why I've only put collab ? Because there's a very good chance that this person will not collab with me. But there is I do have an idea for that. How to be a flat earther is another one that I want to make. Which is just basically which is kind of just saying how flat earthers become flat earthers and get stuck in that, because it seems to a lot of people okay, why would you become a flat earther? Refusing to admit... did Jordan Peterson refuse to admit that he's right wing? No shot. He can't. He can't have admitted that. He can't have refused to admit that. You're joshing me. Hey, I'm gonna take a few seconds to kind of relax a bit. Is there anything that I forgot to mention? I don't think so, because I feel like I've actually been able to link a lot of these things together, which is pretty cool. Like, it's almost been like, oh, so we went from this topic to this topic was related to that topic, you know. Anyway, there was something that I did want to go into, but I forgot. Let's talk about what I've been doing, because, you know, I haven't, like, okay, even though I have, you know, not been able to do much. Oh yeah, I would like to, one of the things that I kind of want to do is I'd like to make a video on Dell with Creaky and get Creaky to basically translate everything that Dell says. Oh yeah, we'll go into the plane on the thumbnail. I was actually getting into that. Why is there a plane on the thumbnail? Let me open up Blender. Here we have a wireframe plane. If I go to that mode, we can see that it's textured. The light and the camera are just there so I could make the thumbnail. Yeah, it's my channel. I get to make decisions, but like I should probably make decisions that, you know, benefit me. By the way, I have said in the description, if you want to see me rant about something, because I will rant about anything, and there are things that I will go back to rant. There are things that I will rant about. There's things that I want to rant about, but, you know, because you know, I want this to be a high energy stream, and I want to get like quite a few things off my mind, because there's a lot of things to talk about, you know. Anyway. So if you want to see me rant about something in particular, maybe you have a particular rant, and whether I'll try to rant about it, but like, and I'm willing to rant about just about anything. But if you want to see me rant about a particular thing, you can always super chat, and I'll try to rant about that. Super chat a topic, but I'll try to rant about that. But, you know, I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to rant about every single thing that people say to rant about. Just a fair warning. Anyway, this plane. What is it? Why have I created a plane here? That's some top quality 3D modeling right there. Thank you. Yeah, I made this plane. There's now obviously there's parts that still need a bit of fixing up, and this is, I just realized that that the texture over here is not the texture that the plane is currently using. But yeah, it's something that I do need to fix up, like these things here. I'm going to actually like properly unwrap it when I'm going to properly unwrap it so that everything looks a lot better, and hopefully I can make it, you know, just a little bit, you know, especially like with these things that are just temporary, so that I knew, you know, where the polygons actually were. But I'll actually try, as I've said, unwrapping a lot. And it will also allow me to go, okay, well, the blue stuff can all be over here, and the you know, the textured parts can all be over here. But why have I created a plane? I have created a plane to fly over a plane. Looks kind of like a Boeing R101. It's probably inspired. I did use a whatchamacallit, I did mock it up. You know how you 3D model and try to get it to fit a picture? I did trace it a little bit. You know, but and I used auto smooth because normals are important, it turns out, and it's Doesn't look anything like a bong. There's not a hole in the side. Yeah. And I just remembered like one of the topics I wanted to talk about, but we'll get to that. This is like a break. Now, if I go over to here, all right, you may recognize what this is if you're a programmer. You may know. That is. Why did my phone just buzz a little bit? I don't know why. Let me see if as I did a really quick buzz. And usually that means... Who's messaging me? Someone's messaging me. I'm not sure why. Why would they message me? Okay, well, I'll respond to that later. Anyway, yes, of course I know how to code. I am a trans femme. Yeah, GameX Studio. Basically, this is a game that I've been working on for ages now. And I've decided to do something. Why is my... Can we focus? I'm trying so hard to focus here. At least the camera can do is focus. Anyway, if I press F5 and run this thing, you'll see a game that I've been working like years on. And I've changed some things about it. Wings are too far forward. The horizontal stabilizer is not big enough in the aerodynamic. It's low poly. I don't think people are going to care too much. Anyway. So this is something that I've been working on. And I changed the title screen to be 3D. No joke. This is a 2D game. And I changed the title screen to be 3D because it's a challenge. I had to figure out, like, how to do rotation. To be fair, I may have looked that up and seen Freya Holmer's video on rotating a point. If I can change the camera around a bit, and you can see that it definitely is 3D. Say the name Flurfia? I don't know what I mean. And if you think this is cool, yeah, transformation. Is actually, wait, is it? Because it's just like a cosine and sine that I had to do. I just had to take the cosine and the sine of something. I actually probably should have just like done 1 minus the sine rather than recalculating the cosine. Oh well. Because I'm pretty sure that's how cosine is, maybe, probably. Anyway. More live streams on Planet Walk trying to code. That would be fun. But I feel like making a whole live stream dedicated to just me programming is probably going to be a little... Like, I feel like a lot of people would not enjoy that. Anyway, if I go to credits... Watch this. It changes the time of day. It changes the lighting. And the planes are actually lit a bit from underneath. Oh, you think I'm showing off currently? Let me show you, because there's one more thing that I did. If I go to exit... Now, this is something that I like. Because not only... You'll notice that the lights are flashing. And the lights are actually sprites that I drew after everything. Well, not after everything. After I rendered the 3D stuff. You know. That's a... Luminaries, yes. Yeah, I thought this was like a cool thing to... make. And even if this game doesn't end up doing well, it's nice to be able to know how to make this kind of stuff. The difficulty that I've had so far with making it, and why I've decided to actually, yeah, if I roll the credits, no joke, Hugh's name comes up. Now, I am thinking of reshuffling the credits. Because, like, yeah, my name comes up a little bit too much. But, like, the hardest thing for me has been art. Because art is difficult sometimes. And I'm not always sure how to make the things that I want to make. Yeah, there's Hugh's name. And the special thanks. But yeah, I'm not always sure how to make the things that I want to make. And so art is one of the things that's like, I want to get more people helping with art, but at the same time, I can't really pay to do that, which is something that, you know, I'd like to do. I'd like to pay all the people, you know, properly compensate all the people that have helped me. With realizing this, there's one person that I've been able to pay, but that was when I had a lot more money. What's this? I don't know what the final experiment thing is about. I have no clue. I don't think I'm involved in it. But yeah, that's something that I've been working on. And I think it's pretty cool that I've managed to put 3D into a 2D game and make it more dynamic. Like, the old title screen was just a static PNG. And I've changed that now. But they say I'm involved. I've not received anything about it. I've not been told. Like, if I'm involved, I don't know I don't know what it is. What's going on? I don't know. Nobody's informed me that I'm involved. You're in the participant video. Why have I not been informed of this? Is this like, are you trying to like say like, is this like an April Fool's thing that you're doing? Like, okay. Maybe there was something that I agreed to a while back accidentally, and forgot about it. Who knows? Anyway, I saw a super chat back, and I'll address it. I miss you. Hope you get well. Break stay healthy. Yeah. Especially with you know, trying to obviously I was gonna make a video yesterday for April Fools, but I'm gonna have to do it next year instead. It's a brilliant video idea, but also predictable. But yeah, that was I wasn't able to do that because issues with issues with the abdominal pain and stuff. I was like, I'll take a bit of time to recover rather than trying to force myself to record a video, and so I spent some time recovering. And yeah, for a second I thought FlatZoid was in the chat. Oh, maybe I should do a blind reaction to it. Let me see what let me see. The final experiment, the participants. I'm gonna let me do a. Let me see. I've never seen this. We've selected 24 flat earthers and 24 globe earthers to participate in. The final experiment. Wait, am I allowed to? Okay, so it has. So this is public. Okay, cool. Okay, hold on. Let me just check. I'm gonna like mute until I see. Yeah, globe earthers have not convinced flat earthers. Globe experiments have not convinced flat earthers. Flat earth experiments have not. That is true. It's not something that the final experiment resolves this issue. Yeah, it is true that it hasn't really convinced you. I think it's because flat earthers and globe earthers have very much taken a side Once you're convinced of something, it often becomes very hard to change your mind, or to have your mind changed, even with evidence. That's why I think that a lot of people right now are convinced of a lot of anti-trans stuff, right? Because even despite all the evidence out there, they've just become entrenched in their current position. I think this is a common thing, regardless of what is true. Oh yeah, I can do 2 times speed. Let's do that. All right, let's see what this is about. Both sides will conduct the experiment together to maintain the integrity of the experiment and to ensure everything is completed properly and full transparency. We informally invite the following 48 participants. Wait. 24 from each side of the debate. Okay. And we consider you the top defenders of... Oh! So if I'm the top defenders of the position. You're part in another level video. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had fun with that. I did manage to record that before I had the issues. Anyway, so you're officially invited to participate in... the final experiment. Wait, do we get...
Not at the top of a hill, but in the valley. The water accumulates in the low spot in the land, and the large bodies of water at rest lay flat, provably, testably, measurably flat, and the container for that water is the higher land that surrounds it. The higher land that surrounds it. All of the continents are... Okay,
so Flat Earth Dave. So these are people that have been invited to this. What even is the experiment?
Surrounded by water, but all of the water is surrounded by Antarctica. Antarctica is not an island at the bottom of a ball. It is the land that surrounds the world ocean. We live in the Antarctic basin, okay? Pretty simple.
Except it's not. He's obviously wrong here, but like, if you look at like things like flights that have gone close to Antarctica, there are flights that have gone like really close to Antarctica. Those flights don't have, it doesn't make sense on a flat Earth. So, yeah.
Tell me you don't understand gravity without telling me you don't understand gravity. The fact that you think...
I know who Simon Dan is. I know who he is.
So should fall off the bottom of the Earth. If you think that gravity is real, then that tells me all about your level of understanding.
Someone at NASA told me...
Wait, was Simon Dan responding to Flat Earth Dave there? That'd be interesting if this is like placed so each person responds to. Silver Slayer, I can't wait for this commercial space flight to be affordable enough for a flat earther to live stream their trip, thinking they'll expose a lot. I don't think that will happen. I think that I think they'll think that it's I think they'll basically think that it's just another hoax, and that they've done things to make the Earth look curved or whatever. Anyway, Eric Dubé, what have you got to say?
We're not going to let you go head to head with Eric Dubé because he'll make you look foolish.
What?
About your level of understanding.
Someone at NASA told Neil, we're not going to let you go head to head with Eric Dubé because he'll make you look foolish.
Okay, so there's a reason why scientists often don't debate people who are... There's a reason why scientists don't debate people who deny science, and that is because the people who deny science, and especially if they have a platform off of denying science, they're not... They don't have a platform because they're good at communicating science. They have a platform because they're good at bullshitting. If you're able to bullshit well, you can make anybody look like a fool, regardless of whether you're right or you're wrong. That's just... It's about being good at debating, not being good at... not being right. Right? Yeah, and a lot of people don't want to try to bring unearned validity to positions that are bad. Anyway.
Prove me wrong.
Continue.
Did he say to prove him wrong about the thing at NASA? Wait, did he make the thing up in it? He probably did, actually. What's this? I'm not sure what people are going on about this video. Just copied bits. Very disappointed with. I don't know. Professor Dave explains.
With the theme of requiring precisely zero science to show that flat Earth is the dumbest hoax on the entire internet, one thing that anyone can do to prove that the Earth is a sphere is to look at commercial airline flights.
Yeah. That is something that is completely true. They ignore their flights that are inconvenient, and whenever they do find, like, one of the things that they said to try and say, oh, this flight only works on a flat Earth, is they tried to say jet streams. It's like, you don't think those jet streams that exist on a flat Earth would also exist on a globe Earth? Are you like inventing new jet streams now? Is there different jet streams on a flat Earth to a globe Earth? I don't know. And we have Gerranism.
Like, you guys are making flat earthers. I hope you know that. I keep saying that every week. Science is making flat earthers. Globe Earth believers and proponents who lie and obfuscate and pretend there's nothing here are making flat earth.
We have... No, we're not. Flat Earth is... Like... The flat Earth has been dying for a long time. Like, sometimes there'll be, like, periods where the debunkers will get a revival, but Flat Earth, fundamentally, I found that it's offered nothing new for... Like, the last new thing that they had was the sextant. That was 2 years ago. They've had nothing new since then. Nothing. At best, you've got, like, maybe a few people that may have decided to do things with a slinky instead of another thing. The new stuff is... Anything new is just taking something that... Just taking Flat Earth and making it even more ridiculous. I kind of wonder which people are... I kind of wonder which people are just in it to see how far that they can push it. Because surely there are people that are doing that just to see, okay, I wonder what Flat Earthers will actually believe if I try to do this.
Hello everybody, hope you're doing well and thanks for joining us for another video. Now, rather unsurprisingly, my videos receive a lot of comments these days from flat earthers, so...
I thought... Ow. I thought we'd get an argument from Dave there, but we didn't.
9 years ago today, in 2015, I created the very first Flat Earth Clues part. Well, actually, it was the introduction to it, just called Flat Earth Clues Introduction, and which was 12 minutes 36 seconds long.
Okay, so not all of these. I like when there's arguments that I can address, that I can rip into. That's the fun part. Anyway, we've got MCToon here. What has MCToon got to say?
Does the Bible say the Earth is flat? The answer is absolutely not. Not a single verse in any English translation says the Earth is flat. Now, how is...
I can accept that. It depends. Honestly, I think it depends on how you interpret it. Like, I think when it comes to the Bible, I think that a lot of it is open to interpretation, and I think that the being open to interpretation is, well, it's a result of it being copied. Yeah, I get that, Hugh. It's the result of it being copied time and time and time again, and eventually you end up with something that is very different, and a lot of things are lost in translation. But then there's also the fact that language itself is very hard sometimes to communicate a specific idea very well. That's my view on it anyway. I don't like trying to say that the Bible says that the Earth is flat, even though me a long time ago would have said that.
Does the Earth causing shadow on the moon if the sun is still up above the horizon with the moon?
But he probably just means
What?
Long? Does the Bible say the Earth is flat? The answer is absolutely not. Not a single verse in any English translation says the Earth is flat. Now, how is the Earth causing shadow on the moon if the sun is still up above the horizon with the moon?
Oh, they're talking about the Saturnalia. Yeah. The Saturnalia eclipse. At least I hope. because sometimes they think that, oh, the shadow on the moon is caused by the Earth, and it's like, no, not only if it's an eclipse, it's caused by the Earth. But yeah, there's refraction. Flat earthers love to ignore refraction because it makes, it's convenient for them to ignore it, but then in their model, they would have to use refraction. I feel like, but they never use refraction. Oh yeah, I actually have a short that I want to make on that. About someone that, there's a few things that have been going around Twitter, so I need to get onto that.
He probably just means travel in general, because whether flat earthers care to admit it or not, that thing that a lot of people now use to travel, GPS, well, the G stands for global, and it works really well.
Yeah, though I think a better argument for that is, because sure, you can say, oh, G stands for global, but flat earthers will just say, well, yeah, they obviously would name it global, Well, yeah, I feel like that argument is more of a, no, it's more to poke fun rather than a serious argument. What was I was going to say? Yeah, the better thing is to talk about how GPS, it works everywhere. You can use it anywhere, even where there's no towers. Anyway, we've got Dean Odell.
Only is that in 1961, they're writing computer programs based on a flat, non-rotating Earth.
Yeah, that's because a flat, rotating, non-rotating Earth is a lot simpler to code for rather than a spherical, rotating Earth, because it turns out that, computers have limited amount of space and limited amount of calculating power. Arsenic 1987 said, good morning to you, Planet Walk. Always nice to see you. Much love from down here in Norway. Up here, you say, nah. Why can't... Yeah, I always say, I always act like New Zealand is basically the top of the world, I'm the right way up, not everyone else. Anyway, we've got...
Well, it is an excellent example of Coriolis forces being imparted onto a moving object and matching the predictions of globe Earth.
Yeah. I don't have much to say about that except for, yeah. Oh, it's... I'm just going... Oh, what a... Let's just go to here.
FTFE don't have. Amazing. I'm going to show you some footage taken on a recent flight between Sydney, Australia and the United States.
Oh yeah, flat earthers always ignore, pilot stuff. they think that Wolfie is a paid shill. And, he can't be. I would know if he was.
Crossing the Pacific at 47,000 feet can be observed a sunrise. And what makes this sunrise devastating to flat Earth is that when we first see the sun, it is clearly several degrees below horizontal.
And
Yep. I took a video years back of I took a level on a plane and took a video of it and showed that the horizon didn't rise to eye level.
I can give you the best globe arguments ever. I don't have to strawman it. I don't have to misrepresent it. I can give you an incredible still man of the globe. Then I can take the glasses off and tell you why it's wrong.
Austin does not steelman the globe. I have asked him multiple times. I have asked him multiple times if he can, about a certain thing, and that is if you are in a car, right, and you are going, you're traveling along the road, what do you use to work out, if you are in a car traveling along the road, can you use looking out the window to work out how fast you're going? And he said, him and Jerem said, you've got the accelerator. It's let's say that the accelerator, not the accelerator, the speedometer is let's say that in this hypothetical, the speedometer doesn't work, Can you use, and they refuse to answer. The answer is, well, you can assume based on the environment moving, Like, if everything in the environment is moving, you can assume that you are probably moving. You may not be. It may be that the entire environment happens to be moving around you, but you can assume, based on, just looking out, that, you are moving. They refused to answer that because they weren't steel manning.
We watched as an EQ mount was able to track a celestial object perfectly, giving us the stacked image by rotating only one axis. Now, would this be possible on a flat Earth? Absolutely not.
Flat Earth.
Yeah. I've seen a few things about equatorial mounts. I don't quite fully understand equatorial mounts, but, it is one thing that... I don't fully understand them, but it is something that I think is pretty nifty and probably wouldn't exist on a flat Earth. Flat Earth is obviously I think flat Earthers probably understand it about as much as I do, but they don't like to admit it. We've got allegedly Dave.
Earth came along at the right moment to educate people, to make people believe or understand that we've been lied to. And if you know, as I know in my heart now, that is real and this isn't, I will not be fooled by aliens coming, because there are no aliens.
It's interesting. They talk about like aliens and stuff, and it's like I don't think we're going to get an alien invasion anytime soon. I actually, one of the videos I do want to make is a video on the Fermi paradox. I don't think it's so much a paradox as much as it's more probably there are some other reasons. At least I hope there are other reasons. There's a lot of assumptions that go into it. That go into it. It's like the main assumption being that we would be able to detect alien signals, and that if aliens would be traveling a lot is another assumption. I mean, and that aliens would probably have visited Earth, but maybe they haven't. I personally think that if, let's say faster than light travel is possible, I think that it's probably a thing that takes a while to get set up and takes a lot of energy, and that's why it takes a while to get set up. You don't want to use it on frivolous, like a frivolous just going from one place to another place, like to check out, to explore. You want to actually use it very intentionally. At least that's what I think, and that's probably a good enough solution as any to the Fermi paradox. Anyway, who's this? I've never seen this guy.
The Earth isn't flat, and I have one of the simplest observations.
He's probably on TikTok. That's why.
Prove it to you. It's right here. These three sunsets from the northern hemisphere, the equator, and the southern hemisphere are all you need.
They can't just come out.
I don't get that argument. Maybe there's more context in the video. I don't get that.
Say there's firmaments or on flat Earth or whatever else. They can't just come out and say, they have to show breadcrumbs. They got to show a trail of breadcrumbs. They have to boil the frog slowly.
I don't get this whole they've got to show breadcrumbs. Like, it's weird when people like try to use there's this thing and this thing that was shown in the media. It's like that they wouldn't make things obvious. And also it's like putting like just one thing that looks like one thing, and like they use, like one person said the Simpsons movie means that the Earth is flat because they had a dome, or means that we're covered by a dome because there's a dome in the Simpsons movie. And it's like, I don't think they were trying to hint at the shape of the Earth. And if the Earth were flat, you'd probably wouldn't see that because they would be trying to hide it more. Anyway.
So yesterday I made a video explaining how star trails only work on a globe. In the northern hemisphere, if you look towards Polaris, the stars will appear to go counterclockwise around it. And in the southern hemisphere, they appear to go clockwise around Sigma Tantus.
Yep. Yep, that's an argument. Yeah, that's probably another person on TikTok.
In the northern hemisphere, if you look towards Polaris, the stars will appear to go counterclockwise around it. And in the southern hemisphere, they appear to go clockwise around Sigma Tantus.
And if someone is not actually pursuing truth, it doesn't matter how much evidence you show them.
they're going to be stuck in their artificial perception of reality.
That applies to Flat Earth just as much as it applies to, you know, anything else. He is right, but, you know, it applies just as much as anything else. Oh, got Bob the Science Guy.
Flat Earth and globe Earth are not equal competing theories. There is ample evidence for a globe Earth. There is none for a flat Earth. Oh.
Yeah, he's right. I like being able to say he's right. We get through. Oh, Flatzoid. What's Flatzoid gonna say?
First of all, if you know how a sextant works, it can only work off having a horizontal baseline.
Ah, the sextant is just the worst argument that I've ever heard. Because they forget that tangents exist. Because tangents exist, you know, sextants can work on a globe. In fact, they only work on a globe, right? They're thinking of things in terms of triangles when, you know, an angle doesn't need a triangle. Anyway.
If you also notice that they use the horizon to set this horizontal.
Yes, and you have to account for dip correction. I've looked at this. It is documented on my channel.
Hi, welcome to Mr. Sensible's Flat Earth album. I've been debunking Flat Earth and other conspiracy crap on the internet, on YouTube, for just over 4 years.
I still think
Yeah, not much to say.
the Flat Earth needs to be founded on observations, testing, the grassroots movement. That keeps it so that Flat Earth doesn't just become another religion that can be controlled. It's by the grassroots movement that's free, that even you can go out and come up with a new experiment or something.
I mean, I do think that Flat Earth is one of those sort of, and to an extent, I think that it probably is grassroots, but also I think that there are a lot of people that jump on it because it's an easy thing to make fun of. You know, like a lot of people talk about it because it is, you know, people like to make fun of flat earthers, right? And I think that some people become flat earthers. There are probably flat earthers that become flat earthers to see, like, if people actually believe flat earth. So I think that there's a lot of people out there that, not all of them, but there are a lot of flat earthers out there that aren't flat earthers.
Yes, you got that right. We're going to be talking a bit about gravity on the flat Earth and how it works, whatever that is. Of course, in real life, gravity as we experience it is due to the mass of the Earth, which attracts things to the center of it.
Yeah, I don't think that gravity always is a good... I don't think gravity is a convincing argument to flat earthers because, you know, flat earthers don't believe in gravity. That's why you've got to actually, like, show that gravity exists first, but then they don't listen to the arguments that you give for gravity existing and just, you know, choose to hand wave it away.
Of Earth from space, they're all CGI composites, and NASA admits it. They go, you know what, we take the images and all we take this information strips, and then we get an artist to put together. I'm like, wait a minute.
But hold on, surely they must have some proof that the Earth is flat, right? They must have done some experiments. Oh, they have, and let me just say, they are definitely something. I'm gonna...
Does he make... I don't think he makes a lot of flat Earth content. Maybe he does. I haven't seen a lot of his content. I've noticed it come up a few times, but, you know. I haven't made a video of Santos. I don't know. Does his channel still exist? I don't know.
Offer $10,000 to anyone who can produce a real/true photograph of the Earth.
Oh yeah, didn't MCToon complete that? I know some people did that. Maybe it was Simon Dan. But you know, it's one of those things where he's going to say, "Oh, that's just CGI. It's just CGI, just CGI, just CGI." Inspiring philosophy. Wait, I've seen this person. I disagree with him on a lot of stuff, but does he really? I feel like we're reaching to people that don't talk about flat Earth that much.
These hyperliteral readings of biblical verses are insane. For one, we know the Earth is round, and we've known that for thousands of years. Two, this is special pleading. You're not going to take hyperliteral readings of other verses.
You saying that the horizon is a physical location and not apparent is so obvious, and the flat earthers are going to clip it up and share it with the world to show your incredulity of understanding why the horizon is where it's at.
So tell me.
I barely caught any of that. Okay, yeah. This is getting funny now. Yeah. Obviously, Neil deGrasse Tyson isn't going... Neil deGrasse Tyson isn't gonna participate in this.
Is the Earth flat? We have video from space of the rotating spherical Earth. The Earth is round. Thank you for joining us on this episode.
I'm not weak.
Oh, it's Dell!
We are. The fact that the claim that was put to me
No!
all through my life that the Earth was a globe, I have found no evidence or proof of that. Studying natural physics and understanding the ways of the world that we were living in, it cannot be a ball and it never will be a ball.
No! Yeah, like, I feel like Dell is one of these people that is close to being able to understand some things in physics, but it just doesn't have that extra understanding to be able to get there, you know? I feel like he's almost there, but not quite. It's a little bit infuriating, but I think that he's more honest than a lot of flat earthers. You like watching... I can play ukulele. People actually got that, which I'm annoyed about. I thought people... Well, I'm not actually annoyed about it. I knew people would understand the song that is. Anyway, we've got Mike Winger.
I care sincerely about people, though, about believers who I think...
I have no idea who Mike Winger is. No idea.
...being led astray by some of the bad Bible study practices that I see inside the flat earth stuff. So it's a big concern of mine. Well, I love you, my brothers and sisters, my flat earth friends.
Biblical cosmology means
I have no idea who this is.
that there's a circle of earth enclosed by a firmament, and that was the most general and basic design structure that the Father created for all of mankind to live in.
I'm gonna have to like see who that is. Okay, so Mike Winger is probably a Christian. If Sirsik covered him, probably. I don't know. Like, I'm just making assumptions because like a lot of these people I haven't heard of. Like Sean Griffin, I don't know who that is.
Cosmology means that there's a circle of earth enclosed by a firmament, and that was the most general and basic design structure that the Father created for all of mankind to live in.
And we know we are going to go higher and enter.
Oh, Scott Manley. I know who Scott Manley is.
That's the kind of altitude you get from an experimental weather balloon or a high altitude spy plane like you two.
Hi, welcome to Hanging on His Words. My name's Ken Heidebrecht, and I've noticed a trend over the past few years that seems to be gaining a lot of inertia. What trend? Questioning our heliocentric globe Earth cosmology and scrutinizing its validity.
Wait, is it? That sounds like he could not be a flat earther though. I don't know. Like as I said, I haven't heard of him. I have heard of Mick West though.
Tales from the Rabbit Hole. I'm your host, Mick West. My guest today is a flat earther, someone who actually believes that the Earth is flat, or at least believes that the Earth is not a spinning ball in space. Someone who has a lot of questions about the very nature of our reality.
But strangely enough, there's nothing in the world today, an area as big as the United States.
Sean Hibella. I've never tried to pronounce that. Hibella? I don't know. Doesn't he just make the level movies? I don't know.
It's never been seen by a human being.
I haven't... Oh, it seems like he might have a podcast or something. Again, I don't know who Blitz PhD is.
I did the legwork. The only source I could find that was not obviously just a screen grab or a repost was from this random Twitter account, and they don't give any information. As far as I can tell, there's no evidence this is even in Antarctica, and flat earthers have just latched onto it without fact checking.
Yeah, flat earthers do that. I've seen like flat earthers repost memes that are, if you do 2 seconds of research, it's wrong. Like, very obviously wrong. I know who Robbie Davidson is. Oh, it's... Okay, when did they make this video? Why is this so... Why? This is from over a year ago. Hold on, am I... Hopefully I'm not covering... I know this because... I know this is from over a year ago. Obviously because, like, I recorded this. But why? Why? They've got to be they're trolling me. They're obviously trolling me. I'm gonna just bring up my OBS. Where's my? Yeah, they're yanking my chain here. What argument have they decided? I can't remember. What video was I making? If I hear the argument, I'll know what video it was. Okay. It was. I'm just thinking. When would it have been? I'm thinking it's probably. It's about Right the Hand. Or Mitchell from. No, it wouldn't. No, I don't think it was Mitchell. No, it wasn't Mitchell from Australia. I remember the top that I was wearing in that video. It wasn't the System of a Down one. I don't know if it was the CC one. It wasn't the one about Jake. I know that because I was wearing something different for that. Jeez, which one was it? Might have been the CC one, if I'm thinking about it. Or maybe it was from the New Year. Although I doubt it, because I started wearing a lot of tops. Let's see. I'm sure it's about... Let's see.
Palm protection will be required for this one. So today we are looking at a flat earther that thinks that he's managed to prove that the famous Earthrise photo
Oh, the Earthrise photo. Oh, I know. Okay, yeah. I know the one. It was about Mikey Smith. So, not during the Christmas thing, which I was thinking. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Got it. I know the exact video. I sometimes have good memory. I like how that you're trying to remember. Yeah, like I sometimes I can figure out the video based on my outfit, especially seeing as I didn't spend a lot of time at this. Like if it had been from the place that I was at after this, I would have known immediately which video it was based on my outfit. Because I didn't spend a lot of time at this place, at that place, but I spent a little bit more time at the place in that video than. This was after I had started taking HRT.
taken by Apollo 8 is fake.
No, one of the things that I find odd about this is...
But yeah, they've got to be. This is joking very clearly. I do appreciate. I do appreciate. Oh yes, premiere on April 1st. Okay, yeah. I for a second I thought that this was being talked about at least before April 1st, and so I didn't know a whole lot about it. But yeah.
Society that we live in is how willing and aggressively people will ridicule those of us who do not place our faith in these so-called professionals and these space agencies, NASA in particular.
Wait. Yeah, well, obviously, like NASA, I find it interesting actually. How flat earthers will, like talk about NASA as though they're doing something bad. NASA actually does more. Like even globe earthers will distrust NASA because why do we need space exploration? But I feel like they do a bit more work than just space exploration. Oh, and thank you, Princess Melissa. My outfits are always killer. Although people are very divided on this outfit here. I remember getting it from Hot Topic because I was thinking, yeah, I just noticed someone saying, oh, hey, the Ark encounter. Then I looked at the screen and realized that we've got answers in Genesis on the side of the globe. I don't. One of the things that I feel like would be more convincing for the globe side is if there weren't so many people that were, crazy on the globe side. They are obviously crazy. But then, like, flat earthers all believe the same thing, and they often fix my ears. That's gonna fall down soon. I hope you're happy now. But But yeah, I feel like flat earthers are able to rationalize at least their craziness by saying, oh, well, we don't believe any of the crazy stuff that the globe earthers believe. Like, and they view the crazy stuff that they believe as being rational. I know that Scotty Storm did that, where he talked a lot about vaccines, I think it was. And he thought that because he was a flat earther who was also anti-vax, he thought that anti-vax was like the first step, and then you become a flat earther. And if you weren't anti-vax, then you obviously wouldn't be able to deal with flat earth. And it's like, no, you're just down a rabbit hole, buddy. Anyway.
No. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. What? I answered the question. Oh, we want me to give some reasons. Oh, okay. That's fine. I can do that. Sure.
If only they did that. If only they did that for, like, young Earth creationism. That would be... That might change some people's worldviews. Who knows? I've seen this person, Bryce Mitchell, in the Level documentaries, but I haven't heard of him outside of that.
Space station, that's a complete fraud. It's a complete hoax. I don't believe that all these astronauts are living up there and doing all this.
Oh, the International Space Station. I've seen pretty compelling evidence that it does exist. Honestly, at this point, when it comes to the ISS, the reason why people don't believe it exists is because a lot of people have spent a lot of time finding bits and pieces to try and disprove it. Anyway.
No, I'm not a flat earther. I'm not a flat earther. I believe the Earth is a sphere. Look at all.
Okay, cool. That's good to hear, people.
I watched all the debates. I don't think there's anything here.
I haven't ever seen the ISS from New Zealand, but I have seen Starlink trails from New Zealand. That is one thing. Well, I'm pretty sure I've seen Starlink trails. You know how they're like, there's like 4 of them or something, and they're all following one another, heading in the same direction. That's something that I have seen from New Zealand. Oh, thank you, Jess, for the $10 let's celebrate their 10th super on a live stream. I'll give it a heart. I don't know if there was meant to be a message with that. I could have. Okay, they're making music. I should make music about like. I have like one. I actually want to make music, but I don't want to make it about flat Earth, if that makes sense. But I do kind of want to make a few songs about flat Earth, maybe. I don't know. Oh, it's a theme song. I thought it was a song that they had made, like. My bad.
Hey everybody, where's Wally here? Hey, on Thursday, the 15th of June at 6:26 p.m, the ISS is going to pass over Brisbane, and I want to capture that moment.
Okay. Please visit thefinalexperiment.com. Yeah. Oh, who's that? Who is that? They're live now. I should pop on this stream and say hi. They're live now. I should. Let me just. I like how. I like doing silly things like that. Anyway, let me click off that. Anyway, that was so silly. that was so silly. Anyway, there was one thing that I wanted to talk about. Okay, but rants. No. That was a nice break, but we do. I was also going to talk about the GLTF specification, but we're going to go to... I'm just going to grab something. So, I recently I recently made 2 videos that... One of them has gotten a bit more... I'll go through the... I'll start with... Okay, here. What do we want to do, people? Do we want to start with something that is a bit more concerning, or do we want to start with something that is, it's like, huh? What do we want to do, huh, or concerning? And can go to because we're going to cover both of them. Well, what do we want to start with? Do we want to go for the thing that's in the thumbnail, or do we want to go for the thing that's not in the thumbnail, but I still want to talk about because it recently grabbed my attention that the video has gotten... Okay, we've got one for huh and one for concerning. Wait. Well, basically one is transphobia and one is... Huh? Why? So 2 for the huh? Why? Huh? Things always concern me. Okay, I think we're probably going to go for the... Why did my phone vibrate? I don't know. Anyway, concerning first is to not end up... Yeah, like, that's what I was thinking. But, like, people are, like, going for, huh. Well, we're probably going to... I'll probably go for, like, a bit afterwards, because I still want to rant about some things, rant about politics or something. It's turned out that this stream has actually had quite a bit in it, I managed to pack it. Oh, well, it was a bit more jam-packed in the first half, third. So, we'll start with the huh, because I think there's been more hahs. I didn't do a poll, but, it doesn't really need a poll, I don't think. Okay, so... I recently made a video that talked about the Baltimore bridge accident. And to start off with, people were being extremely normal about it. Let me scroll down to the bottom of the page and then share it so that you can, see people being extremely normal about it. Like, and when I say extremely normal, I mean, like, actually normal. Like if I go here, we've got, like, cookers everywhere. Pedant writes, they're not conspiracies, they're conspiracy theories. A conspiracy of real thing, a conspiracy theory is total bollocks. The system failure is at the regulating level. To reduce cost, these ships has been optimized to the point where they no longer have any effective backup systems. For a ship that's only that big to only have one main engine, and screw is flat out stupid, but that's just me. And I do agree that it's probably, when it comes to the Baltimore bridge accident, it's probably more a problem with, like, the way that we've had it's probably more a problem with the capitalism aspects rather than any kind of conspiracy. I don't think it was intentional, because, it is bad for capitalism and things break down, but sometimes sometimes people be a little bit more short-sighted and think, oh, well, it hasn't crashed yet. We'll get to that. So therefore it won't crash, but, it had crashed, and it crashed again. And, we've got one person saying, meanwhile, and back in reality, the NTSB will collate and present the true facts in due time. And yeah, it might come out that there was something wrong with this, but I don't think that... I don't think we should start saying, oh, well, this is really suspicious because this, that, and the next thing, without any evidence. that is the main point that I wanted to, you know, it's not I don't think it's caused by diversity hires, and to say so is kind of racist. And probably just comes from people, you know, being racist, especially seeing as this is a Singaporean company, you know, hiring, I think it was people from India? You know, like, if the entire crew was Indian, that's really not diversity. I think that was what I saw in my research. What was the thing? Okay, yeah, there we go. We're going to pull it over a bit. But yeah. But eventually it's... You know, eventually we had people coming in, like... It was actually an elaborate hit job. I thought this was a joke comment. One of the 6 dead men working on the bridge was an ex-cartel leader who had flipped and was in the witness protection program. Just saying N. I'm not sure why they want me to say N, but I've said it. Is this something that people actually believe? I don't think it's going... I really don't think it would be an elaborate hit job. Oh yeah, we're going to just cause heaps of damage just to kill one person. Just like, shoot them. You know? People were confused. And then we was this is a comment I agree with. It seems to me that those indulging in silly claims about DEI think the US is the only country in the world and think that white men are the only people being capable of only people capable of being releasable. And I think that this person was right. You know, it's basically just racism because they don't think that people different to them are capable of doing what they're able to do. Oh, yeah, we have Chicken Pants saying, I'm really missing your long-form content. I'll get back to it, don't worry. I don't know what this means. But then we had one person saying they can fly to the moon but not share a ship. Okay? And it's like... It's like... It'd be like saying we can, I don't know... We can make computers go really fast, but we can't teleport people yet. Or we can make computers go really fast and really speedy, but we haven't found a way to, you know, send mail really fast. Or mail still gets lost in transit or something like that, you know. There are things that are a little bit different. Yeah, like mistakes happen all the time. And mistakes happen in your computer all the time. Computers can be really fast, but it doesn't stop them from crashing. My computer's crashed plenty of times. Maybe it's because it's Windows 11. I don't know. This person went, sure, there can be conspiracies from A to Z, but the reason you picked woke as your trans community... No. It's because it's the one that I saw first. You're biased and therefore not apt to take a side. I can take a side. My bias is on the side of reason. You know, and not just making up baseless claims. Your Windows 11 crashes, who knew? We can be normal about this, they cannot. I'm not sure what they mean by they. Yeah, I have no idea what they mean by they. They didn't... there's... Wait. They're both subscribed. 1 year. Interesting. I'm not sure about this. Like, I didn't pick woke because of my trans community ties. I try to be reasonable on everything. You know, and the there are like plenty of conspiracies about the Baltimore Bridge. The one that I didn't actually get to talk about in that video was, there was one about. Oh, there was the Pete. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. The Secretary of Transportation or something, and what he said about bridges being racist, and what he meant was underpasses or bridges being built too low so that underpasses couldn't take buses from poorer neighborhoods to more wealthy neighborhoods. Basically, and the people in those poorer neighborhoods can't afford cars, so they were basically trapped and wouldn't be able to get to the more wealthier places for like job opportunities and stuff. So you know, he is 100% right, but like, just that doesn't mean that he thinks that the Baltimore Bridge is racist, because newsflash, I don't think cars travel under the Baltimore Bridge. Yeah, real cause of this is, yeah. Oh yeah, we had one person saying intentional. Doesn't mean that it was intentional. But yeah, poor engine maintenance. That seems to be the conclusion. Trans, Australian, or NZ? Conspiracy who's woke? I'm not sure what this means. This person said, where did you manage to make this connection? I didn't make the connection. Other people did. And I'm just like saying this is the connection that other people made. Can we stop? Just because, like, as I said in the video, if the 3 Mile Island accident happened today, people would be blaming it on wokeness immediately, or DEI, or just something that they can do to like explain it, not be to try and say, oh, it wasn't an accident. Yeah, I know what his last name looks like, but I don't know how it's pronounced. I'm a firm believer that the only reason these conspiracies are spreading is from people like you talking about them. You just want to see that stuff to see it, just swipe away and boom, no more. No. It's because Elon Musk bought Twitter. And because he bought Twitter, a lot of the people that are the people more likely to, you know, get blue check marks and spread the nonsense are conspiracy theorists. You know, people that support Elon. Though I'm not sure why flat earthers support Elon. Probably Buttigieg. Buttigieg? Pete Buttigieg? Is that that sounds Buttigieg. I don't know. Has sort of gotten better. The amount of different ways people are saying to pronounce Pete's last name. Buttigieg. Buttigieg? I don't know. But Twitter hasn't gotten better. It's consistently getting worse and worse and worse. And it doesn't seem to be fixable without, you know, removing the blue checkmark verification. Like Elon has made bots worse. I've noticed that. Because bots can now just buy a blue checkmark and they show up in the replies more. Not every bot does that, but you know. Yep. Anyway. Oh yeah, this person said, oh no, people are not thinking about something on your approved list. It's not about whether you know, it's not about that. Like, you know, people can try to have, it's people jumping to conclusions with very little evidence and, you know, just using racism as their evidence. If racism is your evidence, I think the claim should be dismissed off of that. It's either human or mechanical error. Wokeness is still human error. I don't think it was wokeness. Again, wokeness in this case is just code for I want to be able to be racist, but I don't want to explicitly be racist. And they said wokeness isn't a color. But people are using wokeness to attack, non-white people. That's what a lot of they say. Oh, well, this is woke because it has a black person in it. That is what wokeness is often used for. It's also used to attack like trans people and all that kind of stuff. But in the context of this, it's more about race. Anyway, now that we've gotten through that, I would go to the analytics, but now that we've gotten through that, time to go to the other one. Now, this I actually made a tweet about. If I pick, now I'll just get everything sorted. The wrong thing. Content, shorts. We'll go to comments on this one, and we can go to Twitter, and got notifications, but none of the notifications are there. We'll go to my Twitter page, and I actually counted this when I was in hospital. So, I made a short that was about the Destiny Church, which is essentially a hate group here in New Zealand. They decided to try and paint over some rainbow crossings. And I think most people in New Zealand were against them doing that. Most people in New Zealand were against them doing that, whereas I think at least people in the comments were a bit more approving of what they did. Anyway, when it comes to... where was it? When it came... I counted through the comments. 16 of the comments were supportive or good. 10 were weird, I didn't understand them, or maybe transphobic. 71 were transphobic or homophobic comments. 7 were held for review, and all of them were transphobic or homophobic. There was a 42 like to dislike ratio. And I said that there's so much that could be said about that because, yeah, a lot of the times, some of the comments even said, you're being helped out by big tech. I think that was one of the ones that was held for review. Said that, oh, you're being helped out by big tech. Am I? They said because I am a hard right person or something that, I don't know if I can click on the held for review section, but, because, there's probably slurs and stuff that YouTube doesn't like. Me pointing doesn't like coming, but we've got this. How TF did this weirdo end up in my feed? And I think it says more about people on the right than it says about me or big tech, and it's that you're okay with hearing things about trans people. That YouTube doesn't really make the distinction between when something is transportive and when something is anti-trans. So YouTube thinks, oh well, they're close enough, so we'll show this person this video which seems to be aligned with what they like to look at. And that's how I ended up in this person's feed. Because I am trans, and I was talking about a topic to do with trans stuff. And I ended up in their feed. Because they watch a lot of anti-trans stuff. They're okay with the anti-trans stuff, but they're not okay with watching someone who's trans. And yeah. We've got people, saying that my transformation isn't good. I look a lot better now. I much prefer how I look nowadays to, how I used to look. we're gonna skip that comment. You know, they're saying you guys are losing the culture war. It depends where you live. Why does this have to be a culture war? You know? And they said soon it will be illegal to be LGBT. I hope it's not. And I certainly hope it doesn't end up that way in New Zealand, because, you know, I live in New Zealand and it'd be annoying if it was made illegal. But I don't think that... I would hope that people would be... and it's not like... Here's the thing. It's not just... They're not just saying, oh, you know... they're not just talking about trans people here. A lot of people try to say, oh, they're just talking about trans people, especially like LGBT Alliance. They try to say, oh, we're just against trans people. But a lot of the people that support people like LGBT Alliance are against everyone in the LGBT community or in the queer community. Not just trans people. Also the LGB part of the LGBT, you know? The part illegal to be. You know, I hope that doesn't come to pass, but you know, unfortunately America is being insanely normal. I say that with intense what's the word? Facetiousness? Yeah. Whatever. Sarcasm. But yeah, America's being insanely normal with the way that they approach a lot of this. And then we've got comments like, sounds like you probably erase this stupid queer agenda. There's absolutely no need for them. It's a crosswork, not a drag stage. It's like, firstly, drag and... I do think that at this point drag has been intertwined with queer. There's no separating it, but I do. It's probably been that way for a long time actually, but I think that there is a difference between drag shows and a rainbow crossing. Like, the way they'll often try to explain it is like why you know, kids in schools are taught about LGBT stuff. Is I think that it's good to teach them that, you know, some people can have two dads or two mums. I don't, you know, if you want to say, oh, this person has two dads or this person has two mums, I think that's, you know, fine. There should be no problem with that. People do have a problem with that. And people conflate it with other things, you know. You know, we've got people just... you know... apparently pride flags are racist. I don't know. I don't know... Yeah, I don't know. I think I might have included that in... let's... Serious people you're familiar with. Like, here's the thing. Transphobes are not serious people. The problem is that they're given too much validity by people that are wanting to both sides it. It is not a both sides issue. The transphobes are deeply unserious. Anti-gay people are even more unserious. You know, they're not serious people. They should not be taken seriously. I make fun of them because they are not serious people. You know, you try to say, oh, you're familiar with mirrors. I am a serious person, but I also try to have fun with things. You know, they've gayed up the world. Yeah, that is actually a pretty good one. When are you going to accept that you're a man? I'm not. I'm not a man. Tone that Adam's apple. I can't really change that, you know. Like, it does annoy me that, like, I've got such a big Adam's apple. I would like to. I would like to, but I can't. The only sort of thing I can do is be like, oh well, you know, some you know, cis women have Adam's apples too, you know. Before and after shots. Oh, you want to? I have before and after shots. Hold on, let me. I have to scroll down a lot. Because I haven't posted a before and after shot in a while. But there's been... And you can also, like, compare, you know... Toast. I love everything LGBT, just the goddamn frogs line. Don't worry, we're not trying to turn the frogs gay. Some people thought that this was before, but like, it doesn't. Yeah, that is. Oh, that's something that I reposted. I was confused. Yeah, Geneva. I agree. Like, I can think. Oh, here's a before and after shot. This was actually quite close to when I started hormones, and then this was after, you know, being on hormones for a bit. Though, to be fair, this was more me trying to dress mask, even though I had a skirt on it. I think there's a better one somewhere. Yes, here's a good one. So, yeah, 2019 versus 2023. So this is me in 2019. You know, taking a picture with guitar. Was a very bad idea to try and grow a beard. Then I look like this. Hell yeah. This is in September 2023. Oh yeah, that was for my sister's birthday. Yeah, very, very big difference. You know, like, if you think that HRT hasn't done any wonders for me, you need to get your eyes checked. Like, you can compare us side to side. There are more comparisons as well, you know, that I believe I've made. I can, like, if we take like a better photo of me, from before I, you know, before I was trans. Wait, hold on. No. I don't know if we're at August, so there should be one coming up. I believe that there was a photo where no, it's not it. There we go. Here we go. Actually, I wasn't on HRT when I took this one. Well, no, I was on HRT, but I hadn't been on HRT for too long when I took this one. But like, this is before I, you know, before I had done any HRT. You know, long before I had done any HRT. And I think I look better. And then this was when I was on HRT already. And I actually, yeah, I do think I look a lot better now. You know, HRT has definitely changed how I look. And yeah, it's something where, like, sometimes you don't see the changes that you go through on HRT. And I look angry in this one. How do I look? This is me trying to, like, look. I didn't. You know what? Maybe I was trying to put on a smile and didn't quite do it right. Are we playing... It's not do I pass, right? Like, I... Personally, the only reason I care about passing is because I feel like people will treat me normally if I pass. That's the only reason. Like, I would like to be treated normally, but like, if people are okay with treating me normal, like if all of a sudden we woke up in a world where people treated me normally regardless of whether I passed or not, then I wouldn't mind whether I passed. But unfortunately, that's not the world that I... Hugh decided to ask what's the hickey situation. Do I do... and I don't know. I'd have to like go back to this. And yeah. There's a few. But anyway, do I do vocal training? I'm trying, okay? I try. It's very difficult because I can maintain, like, it's like, firstly, sometimes I forget, and to go from one voice to another voice, if I were to try and go to more of a change my resonance, like, suddenly, then people would be like, okay, why did your voice just change? So it's like doing it drastically is the difficulty. And at least I think I'm changing my best friend voice. Oh no. I don't have a good... Okay, I'll try, but... Hold on, let me think. I can't do great femme voices, but I do need to work on it more, getting comfortable with different types of voices. That's why I don't really use femme voices in my videos. I just try to change the resonance a lot because I don't want to come off as making fun of like anyone. Because like that unfortunately that is one of the things that a lot of right wingers try to say that trans people are doing. We're just making fun of we're just making fun of like women, but that's not my intention. I'm not trying to make fun of anyone by being trans. Okay, maybe I will make fun of transphobes for by being trans, and now I can actually make fun of Blair White now without being transphobic. So that's cool. Or without being called transphobic, should I say? Because otherwise it's like, oh, you're a cis dude. You sound like a kid. Yeah, that's why I need to work on it. Yeah, I need to work on it. I think we've moved on at this point. I can go on I can go over all the comments, but like what I wanted to say is like that it shows that trans people in particular, like a lot of the comments were directed at me as a person, like saying, "Oh, you look weird," and that kind of stuff. And I think that people often don't realize I can deal with it. I just want to put that. But I feel like a lot of people don't realize the hate that a lot of trans people get just for simply being trans. Like, transphobes think that they, no doubt there are transphobes that get harassed for being transphobic, but that is something that they're kind of being a dick, That's not to justify if they get severely harassed, obviously, but when you're being a dick, it can be... You can understand it a bit better, If I was being a dick, I wouldn't be surprised if I got harassed for being a dick, Personally, I'd love if you did a whole video with it silly... What do you mean? I have a hard time trying to figure out, like, the current voice. Consequences for actions. As I said, like, I don't think it justifies harassment, but I do think that it can be more understood when someone is being a dick. When someone is just being themselves, then it's one of those things that it's like, okay, why is that happening? You know, I think that there's a difference between, I think that there's a difference. Speaking falsetto, that's one of the things I try to avoid, speaking falsetto, because my falsetto range is actually like quite. My falsetto range is up here, I think. And, you know, it doesn't sound natural. That's why it's called falsetto. But yeah, I need to shave every day. I want to get laser, but I don't have... I want to get either laser or... what's the other one? Also, I'm just going to bring up something that I haven't checked in a while. I want to get laser or electrolysis. Oh, Mickey Mouse is in the house. Oh, or Mario. It's a go. Wow. Yeah, falsetto is for that. But what was I saying? Yeah, like shaving is annoying. I would like to get laser or electrolysis. I do know that some of my hair, particularly around the sides, is particularly light, so I might need to get electrolysis for that. Because I know that laser you need dark hair for, but like, so that would work for my chin and for hair, which would be great. But electrolysis would be better for some of the hair that grows like around here. So yeah, that's a thing about shaving. Also, one of the things that I wanted to talk about, and I heard, so I've already talked about how it was great that I was able to, actually go to the hospital, and I was able to go to the hospital and not get and not get banned for. In fact, one of the funny things, if I go back to like the thing here. Okay, let's bring this up again. This is hospital property on it. I wonder if they got this from America, because I feel like they put this on you so that if you escape, you're returned to the hospital and they can keep you there until you've paid your medical bills. You basically you have in America. This is how I imagine it works in America. You have to stay in the hospital until you pay all your hospital bills, and you basically become hospital property until. At least that's what I imagine the dystopia is like over there. We have, we have free healthcare. Well, free healthcare to an extent. At least at the hospital, it's free. That is not how it works. That's how I imagine it works. Don't you dare try to contradict. Yeah, but debt, you can... There's ways to get out of debt. No one would want to steal that gun. True. They need to make it better because it was one that would come off. The blanket that they gave me didn't have hospital property on it. Anyway, when I was in the hospital, one of the things I heard was about the current government that we've got in New Zealand, which is a right-wing government. Now, the way that they got in, or part of the way that they got in, was by saying that they'd be financially responsible. Were they financially responsible? Is the question. And a lot of people are thinking that no, they were not. And I was talking about this. I wasn't talking about this. Someone else was talking about this because they said that you can tell, and I don't know whether they were right-wing or left-wing, but one of the things that they said is they said that you can tell what kind of government we've got when the first thing that they do is give tax breaks to landlords. Because that's the one thing that's like the immediate thing that happened. As soon as the new government got into power, tax breaks for landlords. we've yet to see tax breaks for everyone else. This was supposed to put downward pressure on rents, but like we're also heading for rate rises around the country because councils are unable to pay for water infrastructure, and the water infrastructure isn't doing well because the people that basically pay for the water infrastructure are the homeowners, and they don't like when rates go up because it means that they've got to pay more. You know? And so they vote to keep the rates down, and therefore, and nobody wants to say, oh yeah, we want to, we're running on fixing the water infrastructure, because if you run on fixing the water infrastructure, it's like, okay, but the water infrastructure seems fine at the moment, even if it's not the best. The only time you get in on fixing the water infrastructure is if problems are caused by the water infrastructure, which we've been having problems with in certain parts of New Zealand, but not all over the country. Well, not in every part of New Zealand, should I say. And like a lot of councils are going, yeah, we're seeing what's happening over here, we do not want to repeat that. That is something that I feel like we've ended up in this situation where the downward pressure that they're trying to put on, rents, on renting, is a result of the fact that they're not, trying to help councils out with paying for water infrastructure, because the water infrastructure is, I believe it's the council's responsibility, because if the government tries to do things, then it becomes a problem with, then you've got to consider the Treaty of Waitangi, which we've got a right-wing government, they don't want to consider that. They want to be able to fearmonger, especially like David Seymour wants to be able to fearmonger about that. So yeah, we've got... That's the situation in New Zealand. Not only that, is there... Like, they're saying, okay, we're going to... They're saying, okay, we're going to lower the... what is it? Lower the taxes, right? But to pay for that, they're cutting a lot of funding, like funding for public transport. So I'm going to have to pay more to go on a bus than... I'm going to have to pay more to go on a bus. Am I going to get that much back in tax? Not only that, but there are they want to bring back prescription fees. So that's $5 each time I want to get a prescription. That'd be like $10 for this prescription, $20 each month for HRT. Eventually, when you add that up, eventually you end up with the stuff costing more, outweighing the tax that you get back. It's the people that it benefits are the well-off. That's what these tax breaks benefit. Yeah, I'm not rich enough to get tax breaks. I do agree with some of the ideas with tax breaks. Like, I do agree that the tax brackets should be shifting to keep up with inflation. But then also I think that there should be a wealth tax, because otherwise wealth inequality is just going to grow worse and worse, because a lot of people that have money, the way that they get money is in the wealth that they have, not in the income that they generate. And so I believe that there's been a thing recently with certain, I think it was the IMF, said, hey, we've reviewed your tax policy and you should put in a capital gains tax, because you're like one of the very few countries that doesn't have a capital gains tax. And then one of the people, David Seymour, says, oh, I think we should be more like Switzerland, which is like one of the other countries that doesn't have a capital gains tax. And it's like, yeah, but they've got other taxes. At least that's what I've heard. I can't remember the exact thing, but, it's like, we should have less tax. It's like, yeah, but then things don't get paid for. Like, the whole idea of trickle-down economics is that you help out the rich, and that's supposed to trickle down to the poor. But that's not how it works. It's rates in living going up over 17%, about 4.5 next cycle, high income, probably easy, low income. Yeah, the thing that a lot of people don't understand about this is they think that, just start a business. But if you don't have the money to be able to start a business, it's not going to work out. And it's like, okay, well, take out a loan to start a business. It's like, okay, but what if that business fails? You're now in debt. Can you pay that loan back? If you can't pay that loan back, then you're fucked. It's one of those things where trickle-down economics does not work. Yet people like to believe that it works because in theory, it makes number go up. It makes number go up, so therefore things must be good. But number going up, but not always good. Yeah, Noxon is a man of the working class. He only made 4.2 million in his last year in New Zealand. I actually heard a good joke from a friend of mine. If you ever see a show called Craigslist, go to it. One of the jokes was that we should, instead of having the head of Air New Zealand as the CEO of Air New Zealand as Prime Minister, we should have had the CEO of Jetstar as Prime Minister. The person who made that joke made it a lot better than I could. I don't want to copy it verbatim out, but yeah, Craig made that joke a lot better than I could ever. I just like the idea of the CEO of Jetstar running the country rather than the CEO of Air New Zealand. Loans are just gambling, no thanks. Yeah. The rich take out loans, and it works for them because they're rich. They if the loans don't work out, then they can they have the money there, or the capital there usually, the wealth. They have collateral, which they can use to pay off the loans if needed. That's why they take out loans, because they have all their money tied up in assets, which if they were to sell those assets, then that would probably be considered as some kind of money that they're getting in, and so they, unless they reinvest it immediately, rather than using it for frivolous spending, so they take out loans, which I believe there's tax loopholes that discount loans. Loans are not considered as income. So basically, by taking out a loan, you are essentially that's not income, so it doesn't get taxed. It's basically one of those things where the tax cuts, yes, I do agree that there should be the tax system should be reworked. I much preferred the Greens and Te Pāti Māori's tax system, where it's no tax up until I think a certain amount, $20,000 maybe, $30,000, and then a progressive tax system, which we already have a progressive tax system, but you have to pay tax no matter where on the tax system you are, no matter where in this no matter what your income is, you have to pay tax. And then having a wealth tax on top of that will, most people in New Zealand aren't going to be affected by a wealth tax. And people were like, oh, but they're taxing trusts. Yes. I don't want to see rich people going, okay, well, to not have to deal with a wealth tax, we're just going to put all our assets into a trust, which is owned by, I'm the only person who really has access to that trust, but it's technically not mine, so I don't get taxed. And they can set up multiple trusts, because trusts are often owned by multiple people. So they set up multiple trusts, put all their assets into that, and therefore they don't have to pay any tax on those trusts. The issue that you get is that people think about it as though it's going to affect them, when it doesn't necessarily mean that it will affect them. I just realized something. Reset. Okay. I never realized. Yeah, I politics is amusing to me, but it's one of those things where nobody understands it. Except me, obviously. No, people do understand it, but I feel like a lot of people don't consider it a bit... They don't consider it in ways beyond, okay, will this raise inflation? Or this lower inflation? Or will this give me more money? I feel like people are generally... And I probably only have a partial understanding of it too. You know, like, inflation is something that is very tricky to work out. Okay, what exactly does increase inflation and which decreases inflation? But if you can't make prices go down, well, prices really go down with inflation. You know, with inflation going down, prices usually rise. They have a tendency to rise, and also inflation isn't the worst thing. But I feel. Okay, we're back. Okay, hopefully we don't have any issues. Are we back? Hopefully we are. I'm gonna just bring up OBS. There we go. Yeah, I know that deflation is supposed to be a thing, but very rarely do we ever see deflation. I'm waiting for like YouTube to show that the bitrate is not 0. Can everyone hear me? Fine. Am I coming through all right? Am I? Because it says that on OBS it says that my kilobits per second are like 2100. The price of love dolls have risen because of inflation. Okay, cool. Yeah, I feel like people. I feel like people are quick to say that, you know, government spending raises inflation, and technically tax cuts are government spending, but they also think about, okay, well, a lot of people think of themselves as temporarily embarrassed millionaires, right? You're all aware of that. The whole you know, the meme. You're not rich. Yeah, but I might be rich someday, and when I do, people like me will have to watch their tone or something. I don't know. And it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, but if I had $1 million, I wouldn't. And it's like, the thing is, they consider having $1 million. Like, if I have $1 million, I'd live quite comfortably. I wouldn't have to worry about all the things that I have to worry about right now. Because of the simple fact, and it's basically the, I want to adjust the Boots theory of economics, right? Because the Boots theory of economics, it's pretty good. But I think that it ignores the fact that, it ignores the fact that let's say that you can buy a $10 boot, right? $10 boots, but then then another person, let's say that they let's say you're making $11, you can buy the $10 boots, and you're able to spend the remaining on food and stuff. Another person makes $15. They can buy the $10 boot, spend some of the remaining money on food, and then they've got a bit of leftover. Eventually, they can use that leftover to buy $50 boots. Eventually, takes a while, but eventually they can do it. And when they've got those $50 boots, then they no longer have to worry about that reoccurring fee. Rich people, likewise, they can afford more expensive stuff, but they don't have to buy all the more expensive stuff. They can afford it though. They have a lot of more disposable income, which they often save for a house. and then that house gets turned into a form of income. And houses tend to go up in value. Boots, no, they're not. They're not $10 though. It was look. Terry Pratchett's Discworld books are written at a different time. The idea is that if you keep on buying a $10 pair of boots, you know, and you could get like $50 or $100 pair of boots that would last a lot longer than the $10 pair of boots. And so, as a poor person, you're forced to get that $10 pair of boots because you can't afford the $50 pair of boots. And my thing is that the more disposable income you have, the easier it is to get to that stage where you can buy that $50 pair of boots. What the current New Zealand government is doing is they're essentially making it harder for the lower class, because the tax cuts, they don't go to the lower class, they don't go to poor people, at least not most of them. They go to the people that are more affected are the rich people, are people that make a lot more money. And so they get more money, and so their money essentially, how do I put it? I'm trying to work out how to essentially they get more money that is disposable income. They now get a bit more they get more of a tax break. There's no new taxes being added for rich people, meaning that if you're making $1 million, you reap the benefits. Sure, it may not matter that much to you, but you reap the benefits of the tax breaks that everyone else gets. I think there's a few that you don't get. I think there's a few that you may not get because they're at least trying to sell it as something, But extend the boots theory to housing. You can't afford a house, so you keep having to pay rent, and rent keeps going up to absorb as much of your money as possible, so you can never afford. Exactly. That's a big problem. And also, like, the prices of houses go up because the prices of rents keep on going up. People are not willing to build affordable housing because, well, that would lower the value of all these houses that are currently on the market. Housing density would help as well. I think that housing density, we should increase housing density because that would mean that there's a lot. Prices of houses go down. Yeah, occasionally. We actually had a bit of a... the houses went down a little bit here. But the problem that we had here is that even though the prices of houses went down, the interest rates went up for that to try and ease... I think it was something about easing inflation. Reality is the $10 pair may well last you longer than the $50 pair of luxury items are no longer always higher quality. Yeah, but then there's that's why I bring up the disposable income thing, because sometimes you can get some... I've actually got a pretty good pair of shoes right now, but it's one of those things where if you've got more money, you can always play around with what might work better, right? Whereas if you've got less... that's my alarm for taking hormones in the morning. Yeah, it's one of those things where people don't consider disposable income as a thing that would definitely affect your ability to be able to get wealthier. If you have more disposable income, you can start a business. If you have because people don't consider, I've talked to people that were like, if you're poor, just start a business, right? If you're poor, just start a business. And it's like, okay, well, what if I don't have enough time to start a business? What if everybody is starting a business? One person said Nick C. What did Nick C say? Where does Nick C? You just buy more money. Yeah, exactly. Problem with it is that it would kill incentive for people who have money to create more. Yeah, like, I don't think rich people, like, the people that create wealth are workers. That's just a thing, you know. The workers create the wealth. The people, the CEOs, yes, they have to manage things, right? You know, they have to do managing things, but they don't always have the money to, or they don't always put in the effort that the workers make, right? Do you think that Jeff Bezos works like 100 times harder than an Amazon employee? No, of course not. But he makes more than 100 times as much as an Amazon employee. And as Larry Fishman says, what if you don't want to start a business? Yeah. Are you going to be able to start a business? No, of course not. And I just saw myself freeze. Something about encoding overloaded. What? My graphics card is good. I don't get what's wrong. Yeah, some billionaires create jobs, but if the workers owned the means of productions, let's say in a co-op, then, you know, it's not exactly the billionaires. What the billionaires bring is capital. What if we distributed the capital more so that people could start their own businesses? In fact, I would say, and here's the thing, I would say that businesses are destroying jobs. Because, billionaires in particular, are destroying jobs because they basically set up one big store that has all your needs and is convenient, and that destroys the smaller businesses who are not able to compete. And the bigger businesses can automate everything. Now, on one hand, I think that automation is good for certain things, but on the other hand, you know, I do like there's some shops that I like that closed down because they weren't able to afford stuff. It was like a small business that I really liked. It was a place called Hungry Hobos. Catch you later, Planet Smokers over. I'm so glad I've never seen politician market share in New Zealand. Yeah, I am glad that that we don't have like Lux. Can you imagine Luxon trying to sell hats? I feel like Luxon would be more of a beanie guy, basically Tim Pool. But yeah, if you want to talk about like things that are getting rid of business, it's the big stores that try to be basically, you know, well, often they're called convenience stores, right? But like Walmart, for example, I went to a Walmart and it was wild being in a Walmart. Also went to like, I think Smith's as well, but it was wild because it was basically the warehouse with a grocery store attached. Well, okay, one of the Walmarts that I went to was just a grocery store, but one of the bigger Walmarts it was for everything. It's even sold guns. If everyone is a business owner who does exactly, and like, don't get me wrong, I think that there are some business owners that probably did do a lot of the work to start up the company, but I don't think that the amount of work that they have done justifies their, you know, really big paychecks that they take home. Oh god, ROFL, you're running for city council in Planet Walk. That big Bock bad rant is pure downtown business association rhetoric. I feel like it's one of those things that would do well. you know, in politics as well, because like nobody likes the big boxes, right? It's one of those things which, yes, it's convenient, but like it's nicer to have like little smaller community stores, and also with the big boxes there, you've got like you know, your big chains. The problem is that they use tons of parking. They have tons of parking, which means that cities are more spread out. You know, there's and the convenience of it eventually defeats itself. It's no longer as convenient as it was, because you know there's a ton of car parks. You can't punish Jeff for being successful. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. He can pay a bit more in tax. He has the wealth. He can pay the tax. If okay, it's like the whole. It's like the whole if you can't whatchamacallit, if you can't pay if you can't afford like property tax, then just sell your house and move, right? Not the Ben Shapiro one. It's I've heard arguments like that, but instead it's like, no, if you can't pay the tax on your wealth, sell it and then move. The fool can't play the wise man, but the wise man can play the fool. I don't know what you're talking about in terms of the conversation, but you know, fools do pretend to play wise men. They do. They absolutely do. The difference, it really comes down to charisma. If you're a fool, like we talked about this earlier with flat earthers, you can convince someone that you are right despite being 100% wrong. It doesn't matter that, yes, they do. Like, if you've looked at the New Zealand government that's currently in power, they're a bunch of muppets. They're like they're like, we've got like 3 doofuses in power that, you know, 2 of them don't get along, and one of them doesn't want to upset either of them because he knows that that's not going to work out well for him. And then you've got the whole thing that nothing is working out for them. The policies that they're implementing aren't the things that they campaigned on, because the things that they're implementing are not popular. You know? And the numbers don't add up. But they were so confident that the numbers did add up that they've got to try to say, okay, well, we're determined to get this through, even though economists are saying, no, this is a bad idea, maybe wait a bit. In fact, if they waited a bit, I'd have much more respect for them, because when economists are saying, hey, please don't give people tax cuts because it might raise inflation, and it wouldn't be good for people, it's probably a good idea to listen to the economists. The issue is that here's a better thing. Fools, I know I'm calling half the country a fool, but fools don't necessarily... Fools think that fools are wise men and that wise men are fools. I think that's the quote that you'll want. And I think that that's probably very true. I don't know how many people agree with me on that, but, you know, I can come up with, you know, things. I mean, I do agree that we've probably got better people than Trump here. Trump, I hate to see what happens in November in America, because the problem with Biden, I know that never starts well, but the problem with Biden is that he's losing a lot of votes because of his stances on Palestine. Or his stances on Israel, should I say. That is losing him a lot of votes. And and I think it's one of those things where you should probably vote blue no matter who, because not voting means that, Trump voters aren't going to not vote based on whatever. Not voting is probably going to not work out, unless maybe if you're in a place that will certainly vote for Biden, then maybe you can not vote. But if you're in a place that's a swing state, absolutely vote. It's one of those things where a Trump presidency, we can talk about how bad the first Trump presidency was, right? Did things get worse? Did things get bad? The main hiccup with Trump's presidency was the COVID-19 pandemic. The issue with Biden's presidency is that he had to clean up a lot of Trump's mess from the COVID-19 pandemic, right? And the issue is that based on that presidency alone, we can say that, okay, maybe a second Trump term wouldn't be so bad. The issue is that a second Trump term would be pretty bad if you look at Project 2025. And also considering the fact that Trump getting into power has changed how the United States works. If we look at some of the stuff in Joe Biden's presidency, some of it wasn't Joe Biden's fault. Like, the overturning of Roe v. Wade was Trump's fault. But we don't really associate it with Trump because it didn't happen during Trump's presidency. We don't think, oh, that was a problem with Trump's presidency, because it didn't happen with Trump's presidency. It happened after Trump's presidency. Sometimes it takes a while for some of the issues with a particular candidate to show up. So whilst we can look at Trump's presidency and say, oh, it wasn't too bad, if you look at all the associated things, like the fallout from the COVID-19 pandemic, the fact that there was a riot at the Capitol, the fact that there was Roe v. Wade got overturned as a direct consequence of Trump, the fact that there was inflation that was partially caused by bad handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. Put all that together, and you realize that the Trump presidency had a lot of effects, a lot of long-term effects that are still being felt to this day, but are now, a lot of them are blamed on Biden, because everything that happens under Biden's term must be Biden's. When I say not that bad, what I mean is that it didn't destroy the country. It may have seemed like it at times, but it's one of those things where it's easy to now look back at the 4 years that Trump was in office and go, oh yeah, it wasn't that bad compared to what we've got now, because economic anxiety is worsening because of the simple fact is that inflation goes up, wages aren't keeping up with inflation, and Joe Biden isn't really doing enough to quench those anxieties. Or to quell those anxieties. Yeah, and it's like with the Ukraine thing, it makes it look as though Joe Biden is responsible, even though it's nothing to do with Joe Biden. People don't. If we look at a lot of Trump's things, I can point to things that Trump has directly caused which have been bad. And if we look at Project 2025, then I would not want another Trump presidency. I really wouldn't. And if we look at the fallout that Trump has caused, even then I don't want another Trump presidency because, if any more judges retire, then I don't think if any more judges retire or die in the Supreme Court that are, any of the three, is it? I think there's like three Democrat judges or Democrat appointed judges in the Supreme Court left or something. It's 3 or 4, I think. But if Trump gets to appoint more judges, then I don't think we'll see it be as bipartisan as it is supposed to be. And that, that I think would be pretty bad for a lot of things, especially if some of them become more Trump loyalists, I guess. They're supposed to be bipartisan, but that's not always the way that it turns out, it seems. 4, okay, yeah. I know that I'm pretty sure that there's 9 judges, right? So, it could change. It could change to like with 4, it's like, okay, maybe one of them will retire. Maybe one of the Republicans will retire or die in a few years. Preferably retire. I'm not a big fan of being like, yes, one of them died. So preferably retire. But I'm assuming that they'd probably retire during a Republican presidency. Which is, so that they can get more Republicans. Probably. I haven't seen. I haven't really paid attention to the historical, the politics of US before I was born. I hadn't really paid attention to that. They won't retire though, even the one really needs to because of the conflict of interest. I don't know which one that is. All I know is that there's Clarence Thomas, I believe, and yeah, that's the only one that I know. I don't know any of. I know that there was someone who used to be on there was RGB. Oh, that's the one who needs to retire because of conflict of interest. Okay. Yeah, well, I feel like he would retire during Republican presidency if he did retire. Because, it's annoying how there's no term limits on the Supreme Court in the US. Oh yeah, I agree, Nixie. That would have probably helped. Though I do think that you do have a problem with the Senate over there when being able to block things. In which case, why not just get the Senate to appoint? If the Senate can block Obama from picking a judge, why not just get the Senate to appoint judges? And then when the it's weird. We do have courts over here in New Zealand, but I feel like they don't have as much of a say over politics. When the courts get involved here, I don't think I've seen the courts get involved here. It's usually over if the government breaches the treaty. I know over in America, they can basically say, okay, well, this isn't constitutional, so this law that Biden is this executive order thing that Biden is trying to pass to help students is unconstitutional for some reason. So therefore, we're just going to block it. It's baffling to me. Yeah, I feel like a lot of the arguments that are given are for the Electoral College, let's say. It's like, okay, we don't want the Electoral College because we don't want a tyranny of the majority. And it's like, okay, but I don't want a tyranny of the minority. The problem with the Electoral College is that you can do... here in New Zealand, we have electorates, but ultimately, so you can vote for a person in an electorate to represent your electorate, right? And they're basically a representative. But ultimately, if you have the parliament tries to have an amount of people in parliament that is proportional to the amount of people that voted for each party. So if a party gets more, let's say that a party gets 10% of the electorate votes, but only 5% of the party votes, they will not get any list seats. We actually had something similar to this happen recently. Whereas if a party gets, like, let's say 0% of the electorate votes and, like, let's say 10% of the list votes, they'll get 10% of... They'll have a 10% or close to a 10% standing in Parliament. That is probably the way that it should be. So, you know, if you want to try and make the, you know, not wanting tyranny of the minority, in the way that, well, that's the way, I say that that's the way it should be. You know, obviously I might be biased on this. Yes, you did catch Planner Walk Live. And when it comes to, I'm trying to think. Yes, New Zealand politics. When it comes to the New Zealand way of doing things, it actually allows for smaller parties to actually be able to get in and form a coalition government for bigger parties, and that I think that's pretty cool. You don't like how you don't like Joe Biden? Oh, hi, pothole. You don't like Joe Biden? Well, guess what? You can vote for a third party that actually has, you know, a decent amount of the vote, and the third party can drive Joe Biden to the left. You know? That's... I've kind of gone past taxes, you know? This is it. I need to do my taxes, actually. I'm like the one person in New Zealand that actually has to do taxes. Most people don't. But I do. I have to pay tax. Oh, I have to do my taxes. Will Biden say... I don't know. I feel like Joe Biden is... Like, he is really old. Right? And I don't think... I think that there will be... If he does get in, there will be issues with him... You know, actually being able to run the country. I mean, he's having issues with speaking right now. However, Trump is also pretty old, so it's like it's one of those. But he also I think Trump sort of seems a little bit more glued together than Biden. Like, he seemed like, obviously he's not better than Biden in terms of like, you know, policies and everything, but he seems like he's a little bit more everything's just a little bit more functional than Biden. But also there's a whole lot of other stuff as well. In my opinion, the whole unconstitutional thing is just stupid. It's just saying you can't change the law because then it would be keeping in previous law, which is the whole point of... Yeah. I mean, constitutional amendments have been passed, but you need like a 60% majority to be able to pass an amendment to the Constitution. And it's like... but the whole... I think it's 60% majority. But the problem that we've got now is that Republicans are very much... They think that the Constitution is perfect, so they're not going to pass anything to change the Constitution. And whereas political preference, sexual orientation, I don't get that. but yeah, Yeah, better asleep. I agree, Madeline. Better asleep than actively antagonistic. Oh, and ratification by enough states. Okay. As I said, I'm not an expert on. Yes, I agree, Nick C. Trump is more alert, but more senile. Biden, at least. Biden feels like a forgetful person, you know. And we all have parts that I forget things that I'm talking about as well, you know. But like, I'm not seen as being incompetent. I mean, some people might see me as being incompetent, but I'm not really seen as being incompetent because I'm not old, you know. So people have that worry more with Biden because, you know, he not only does he look old, but like he does have a few things where it's like, okay, why did you do that? Are you all there? Are the lights on? I just can't believe that they decided to, you know, the whole 2020, you know, the whole let's do 2020 again was a joke. That was a joke. Why are we doing 2020 again? The whole if you like 2020, get ready for 2022. Why are we trying to make 2020-2 a thing? Why are we trying to do that? Why? We don't need Trump versus Biden round 2. I just about said a banner. I feel like the whole world is, and I worry that people are going to forget like how the disastrous consequences that the Trump presidency has had, and just vote Trump because, you know, Biden hasn't done enough, and people that did vote for Biden, well, they think that he hasn't done enough for Palestine, even though that Trump's not going to be better on Palestine. Have you seen what he said about Palestine? He says that Israel needs to wipe out Hamas. And I don't think that he's going to delineate between Palestine and Hamas. Trump doesn't need to remember anything and he's just actively making it up on the spot. That is true. I feel like a lot of right-wingers just create stuff to get mad about and then get mad about it. And like, I say, it's very easy for me to recognize this as a trans person. Because as a trans person, if I've been accused of many things that are just not true. And like, people have tried to say, you know, oh, you're this, that, and the next thing. It's like, no, I'm not. Where did you get that idea from? And it's like, oh, but all trans people are this. And it's like, no, they're not. But like, I find one that I heard recently, I think, was like, you know, people are trans because of sissy porn. It's like, no, I'm not. I'm not trans because of that. I'm trans because of my relationship with my gender. I haven't ever been into that. I haven't ever been into the type of porn that they try to say that I'm into. But they will insist that they'll insist that it must be because of this. It's like, I don't know any trans person that has been made trans because of that. And it's just making stuff up. They don't understand it, so therefore, because they don't understand it, they draw a parallel between that and something else that they think must be responsible, even when it's not. And I think that's the same with a lot of like Republican arguments, like is they don't understand. Well, it's a conspiracy theory, isn't it? Yeah. One of the things I forgot to put on here, and I'm going to keep this document so I can. I'm going to keep this document so that I remember my ideas, and that is transphobia is just conspiracy theories. There we go. Because it is. There is. I can't. I feel like if I were to, like I've already compared transphobia to flat Earth, right? And I just realized that I didn't have my screen up. Oh well. Transphobia is just conspiracy theories, right? And I think that the reason why they don't see it is because they think, like flat Earthers, they think that they're adhering to science. Flat Earthers, here's the thing: flat Earthers think that they're adhering to science but they use really simple science that, at the end of the day, doesn't, when you deep dive into it, doesn't show what they think that it shows. That sounds like the kind of thing you'd come up with when it's making up reasons for, and it is conspiracy theory because it's like, who's pushing this? Big Pharma. Big Pharma, the left want to do this, that, and the next thing. And it's like, no, we're just wanting people to be happy. They want to push their agenda. What agenda is that? Degeneracy or whatever. It's like, no. It's just, I want people to be happy. I want to be happy. Planet Walk, you think bigotry is just approaching the world with a predeterministic mindset instead of descriptive? Like they always want the world to adhere their minds to their mindset and never. Yeah, I think that is a lot of it. They don't want to change. They've got ideas, and we see this a lot with we see this a lot with transphobia and homophobia. It's a thing of, this is how things ought to be in the world, and I don't like when things aren't this way, so I'm going to be mean or whatever to the people that challenge that way of being. You see this with pronouns a lot, right? Like me switching from he, him to any pronouns and then to she, they. The people that don't respect that, they can't handle the fact that I've decided to change. That the pronouns that I use may not necessarily match how I sound or how I used to be. I've changed as a person. And in a way, my pronouns have changed to reflect that. The thing I can't get past is when it comes to understanding bigots is their ability to hate people for no reason. I think a lot of them try to justify it by saying by trying to say that they're not hating. They try to say, they try to paint it not so much as hate, but more of a tough love situation, right? It's like, it's you don't know what's best for you, and I'm telling you this because I know what's best for you, kind of thing. It's condescending, obviously, but it's a thing where they have justified it to themselves. Dick Demosh says, heck, I have an invisible disability and get straight up told, no, you aren't disabled, not really. I have a special passport and medical... Yeah. I think that's another thing that a lot of people, they don't realise. When you can't see something like gender dysphoria, it's easy to assume that gender dysphoria or even gender euphoria doesn't exist, and that when people talk about that kind of stuff, they must mean something else, right? And that's why they say, gender dysphoria or gender euphoria is narcissism. Like, that's what Matt Walsh's thing is. That's what I think a lot of bigotry actually comes back to that, right? you're glad. I'm glad that you're glad that I'm okay. Am I okay though? Am I? I mean, I'm like relatively speaking to like in general, I think I'm okay. There are a few things that could be better. Yeah, I think that there is. I think that a lot of it is sort of a condescending thing of I'm right, you're wrong. Just hopped on for a bit while having lunch. A ton of them also equate gender euphoria with horniness for some reason, really. Yeah. I see that as well with a lot of people. They equate it with that because they've seen like one post on Reddit for something, relating to something like that. And whereas, like, for me, it has never been that. Euphoria has always been, I really like wearing a skirt or something like that. I'd never got to wear a skirt before, and I like it. And also, I think I look cute in one. This planner, okay. Yeah. People may... Yeah, that is true. People may not be able to tell the difference between euphoria and horniness. People sometimes do have an emotional range that isn't quite as large as... that isn't quite as large as the hope for, you know? I've certainly experienced that recently. You know, where it's like just hard to distinguish between two things, right? And so some people may think, oh well, this is horniness, or they might think, oh well, this horniness must be euphoria because they haven't like distinguished the two things. Or sometimes people might think that dysphoria is not dysphoria because they don't realize that it's normal to them, right? Yeah, skirt go spinny. I really like that. I think seeing the memes of skirt go spinny has sort of helped me realize that I was trans. I'm not Elo, and I understand that just fine. Misattribution of arousal. Yeah, that can happen to people, and I feel like a lot of people. There's also experiences that a lot of people just don't experience because I think that there's probably a number of people that. Maybe haven't experienced gender euphoria because they don't realize that they've been told all their life that men don't wear skirts, and so they think of themselves as a man, so they don't try wearing a skirt. That's something that for me for a long time stopped me from trying it out. Even though, like, I do remember trying on a dress in high school, but it was really tight. And it was for a play. And the joke, and it wasn't like to make me look pretty. The joke was that I'd not have a wig on. I was very like, my parents insisted that I had like a number 2 haircut, and I'd go on stage in this dress, and I actually had shorts underneath because I was worried. And I'd go on stage on a dress like, and like the joke was that it was like Grease. Neither of us had seen Grease. We were just like making up like a plot about sandwiches, and we did the sandwich I want is filled with honey. And then there was there's a random excuse to put grease lightning in there because we found a car. And we could get Subway. You know? It was like a wild time. Basically the whole plot revolved around sandwiches. Going on a date and having bad sandwiches. It was a funny thing. And we'd performed it at, I think it was an arts thing. And so what we did is in drama we had a particular script for that, so that we had a particular script for that, and then in the live version we hadn't told anyone that we're going to do this, but like I'd said, Chandler made these sandwiches, I think, and then all of a sudden, like afterwards, we eat them and they're terrible, and then the other person goes up and finds Chandler in the audience and like has a go at him. We hadn't told anyone that we're gonna do this, and I think that was hilarious. I can't remember the whole thing. All I remember is that I kicked my sandal off at the end. It was hilarious. Good times. It would have been nice to have the recording. Then I'd be able to like remember it a bit more, and probably also be embarrassed. I still have like recordings of like old things that I did on my YouTube channel. Like if you look at the first video on my YouTube channel, it's like a recording of a thing I did in high school. I'm never deleting that. Never deleting that, because it's me when I was like little tiny dude, and I was actually really short, like for my age, I think. Until I got to I kind of feel like I could have been a bit taller if I had have been like. I think about that. I think that about my school plays where I played mad scientist. Yeah, it would have been nice to like go back and like even if it's cringe, you can go back and cringe at it. It's. But could you have been a baller? A baller? I don't know what you mean by baller. I have no idea. But yeah, like even if like some of it is happy 1 day late of transvisibility. Did you like any hidden? I got given eggs. I mean, yeah, I could have been a bit taller, I feel like, if I had I don't want to get into it too much, but like I wasn't quite properly nourished as a kid, so I probably would have been a bit taller if I had have been. And like here's something I do like, right? I do like when I can give off tall bitch energy, right? If I can like put on some heels and give off tall bitch energy, I will. If I can be the tallest person in the room with heels, yes, please. I love having that energy. Okay, yeah, I don't know. I don't listen to a lot of rap. I listen to evil jazz. But yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think that I probably could have been a bit taller, and I probably would have. I'm just like a lot of me thinks like, what would have it been like if I had have actually like started HRT earlier? And being a lot taller would have probably made me more comfortable with starting HRT earlier. Like had I been able to start like HRT at like 18, because I think I was still getting taller at 18. And so, yeah, that would have been... I feel like I would have enjoyed more of my life if I had have started HRT earlier. Sounds like you need a pair of Alice is standing right behind you. Yeah, I like, yeah, if I am taller, I can like turn around and be like, all right, I'm because she is really tall. Like she does give off tall bitch energy. Like I know people make fun of her, like call her short, but she is actually really tall. Like she is like I legally can't say her height, but I can legally say that she's 7'6". I don't know, like I would have liked, I think I'd have liked something like 5 foot, like 5'10", I think. So like an extra inch or an inch and a half, I think, roughly. Not too tall, obviously. Because, like, you know, some people have problems with people being too tall, but tall enough that I can be, like, you know, have tall bitch energy. I feel like, you know, I feel like I would have enjoyed that. Just a thought. Demonia is the definition of classy. I don't know. I still don't see Alice standing right behind me, so that's probably a relief. I'm not a big fan of like Alice jump scaring me. No love for average height bitch energy. I mean, you can have that if you want, but I want to have tall bitch energy. You know? Personally. Okay, see, bye-bye, duck. I like how we're just calling them duck. You were just calling them duck now. I don't know if I can. Well, I'll just call them duck. What else do I want to talk about? Like, I feel like we've talked about like most things. Like, no one ever sent me on a rant. I sent myself on all the rants. I feel like I managed to explain everything, and I feel like I managed. Like at times, I know that I managed. I have. At times, I know that I haven't like properly talked properly, but I've tried, and that's what's important. Anyway, I will probably. Oh, I did think about like I've been like trying to learn the saxophone lately. I realized that it's not properly in key. You got. I mean, I made the video game a lot. I need to get like more people to help me, volunteers and stuff. Hopefully, once I get that, I can like make progress, and then if I make progress, I'll be able to, you know, hopefully, I've got a few ideas, and I don't know if you can do this on Steam, but what I kind of want to make a demo for the game, you know, then I kind of want to make a version of the game that is $5 or something that has a lot more than the demo. But it's not the full game. And will be released early. But then I want to make another version of the game that's the full game. But if you've bought the sort of light version of the game, then you get the full game at a discount. You know? What do you need help with? I need help with... I need help with art. I can do some of it, but I can't do all of it because it's I just don't have the skills, you know. I've been trying to do as much of it as I can. There's bits that I know that I can do. Art of what? Just like there's like various things. Like I know I can't do the background art, which is going to be a big thing that I will need to get. Like, I'll show you what I mean. The background art. Let me. One of the things that I can do is I can do shaders. That has been useful. In fact, this game actually runs heavily on shaders. I'm terrified at how frame rates are going to turn out because GameMaker doesn't account for if you do a lot in a shader. But if I go to here, like music is something that I can do myself a lot of, even if I'm not always the most confident at how the music turns out. But we've got this. Load game, we'll go to here. So when I talk about backgrounds, what I mean is, so I would like to be able to like take something like the background that you see here and make it a lot better, a lot less, I don't know. But like when I talk about specifically about backgrounds, we'll just destroy these things here. So this is what I mean about background. So the background art here is that's something that I would not be able to do myself. And like when it comes to art, I did see someone talk about AI art. I'm avoiding AI art in this game because the problem with AI art is, well, there's a few problems. It feels like it's sucking the creativity out of a lot of things, you know? So yeah, I don't want to like have this game feel like soulless. You know, I want the designs of the enemies to be very much like in you know, something that I want it to all be designed by humans. I feel like it's yeah, I just really don't like AI art. I just don't like the idea of taking away or trying to process creativity into a algorithm. Yeah, it is an RPG, so you do gain XP and stuff. So that's one thing that I'm specifically trying to avoid if when it comes to art. Like, to be fair, there are some parts of the game, which if I go to main menu, there are some parts of the game that are generated, but they're not AI generated. Like, the water here is technically generated to an extent, but it's not AI generated. It's, if I go load game and go to here, I think? Yes, and then I go out. So the pavement that you see here is generated. Yeah, the pavement here is generated. The grass is generated. But the reason why it's generated is because you know, it's a lot easier to make it look like it's not tiling when you generate it instead of drawing it manually. But then there's like a lot of things that are drawn manually. The water I probably need to fix up. That was generated as well. Yes, same perspective as Earthbound. But yeah, the grass is also generated. Basically, I'm saving on a few things by making the grass generated, and it also looks more I can't go to the old grass area. There's a bit of broken stuff because I've been working on a few things. But yeah, like generating stuff I think is fine to, as long as it's like a, as long as it's not like taking away the creativity of like people. Like this was very much generated but made by me, if that makes sense. Like I made the thing to generate it. And it's not like an AI generated thing, it's like me deliberately programming and entering the values. I can change this if I want to how I want it to look. To exactly, I want to make a game like RTS, but I've struggled coding in Unity, so I haven't been able to. Yeah, it's one thing which a lot of games are heavy on programming. Like this game, like it is heavy on code. Like there are shaders. Unity, I think, allows you to do node shaders. Maybe there's a project that I'm working on in Unity that I do need to work on the shaders a bit. The secret to indie game development seems to be just be a transcript. You understand, like here, this is the code that I've been working on for like for the 3D. The stuff is no longer needed properly, I think. Yeah, but you know, there's code here to load 3D meshes. Yeah, node shaders in Unity, cool. I need to work out how to use those node shaders because like I'm a lot better at GLSL. This is you can say that this is terrible if you want. I don't know all the things that you can do with GLSL. But yeah, this is what I've done for like a shader for 3D. And meanwhile, here's the fragment shader, just a really simple pass-through. I actually should probably get rid of this comment here because it's not a pass-through shader, not really. It is a lot more than just being pass-through. We'll and also the normals I use in this shader, so we can get rid of that. Because you know, I use the normals. I could actually use a normal map. I vaguely know how a normal map works. Yesterday I was watching a video about an ITS mistake the government made, and I kid you not, another trans lady. It's not just... Yeah, it is true. You see, there's a YouTuber I follow called Sarah Spaulding. And... let me check to see... Let me check to see on YouTube if... Sarah Spaulding. Let me see. No, it doesn't come up as Sarah Spaulding. Damn it. Yeah. But yeah, says, but yeah, they came out as non-binary. And so, you know, it's one of those things where, like, a lot of programmers do end up becoming, like, non-binary. Like, or non-binary or even binary trans. And, you know, I'm a programmer, obviously. I eventually figured it out. I know that Freya Holmer, I'm pretty sure she's trans. I think she is. If you want to simplify graphics, go for 256 color pixel art. Yeah, I do like the art that I've got now. Or to hear reactionaries to tell it Cody makes you gay. Yeah, basically. I think that a lot of things when it comes to programming, like, they're really simple. But you got to understand, like, it's simple in the way of if you know how to do things, it's simple that way. Like figuring out, okay, which way do I want things to do? Like, if we go to here, this code here, which is for rotating an object in 3D space, based on a 3D rotation on the X, Y, and Z axis. So I believe Z is used for the roll. Yeah, Z is used for roll. Y, I believe, is used for yaw, and X, I believe, is used for pitch. I think. Just out of curiosity, how much software dev experience do you have? What's the largest project you've worked on? Tens of thousands of lines. And biggest project I've ever worked on is this one right here. This has been years. Like I would hate to see how many lines of code are in the entire thing. Like 200. Okay, some of them are debug lines, but like about 200 lines of code for this, and it's not even finished. If I go to the characters, wait, no, that's in sprites. If I go to the objects, and I go to the characters, is it? Nope. Wait, wait. Oh, okay. Go to my menu, cutscenes. Oh, where is it? I play it. No. Play it. Oh, play a dungeon. Okay. So if I go to the create event, how many lines of code is this? Oh, I should just go to the UI. So that's 210. Step. It's about 600. There's a few. I saw a few things commented out, I think. Maybe. I can't find it. But yeah, 600 lines of code. Yeah. And I do agree, Nixie. Lines of code is not a great way to judge a project. I've written thousands of lines of code for fairly small projects. But if I go object UI, that's got a lot of code that I would like to change, but like I'm afraid of breaking things. Manager objects, obj underscore UI. And what does this look like? And I think this is probably the biggest draw event in... Yep, 680 line draw event. What's the step event like? 700 lines. What's this? Okay, maybe I should change that. And this create event is probably one of the largest ones. Yeah, but essentially, yeah, there's a lot of code. I could give you a... I could go through this and go through all the lines of code, but there's the total... What? The total code for... It's probably larger than that, I'd say. Because you've got to consider like how many objects I have, how many scripts I have. If I go to the scripts, if I go to probably one of the biggest scripts, which would be I know that's a small script. So there are 20 line scripts, but what's one of them? What's this one? Oh, that's a small one. But then you've got ones like, what's this? Calculate. Oh, I know that one. There was one that I wanted to set up game, I believe. Yeah, so this one here is a pretty big one, which is like a few hundred lines. What are you coding? Basically, this is code for... This is like a project that I'm working on. There's a lot of lines of code, and some of it isn't even in the S. Some of it is like in the rooms to tell, basically to initialize variables. What I'm trying to remember, like the particular one. Setup game, not unload game. Initiate game. Yes. Yeah, another 400 lines of code there. Yeah, initiate game, I believe, is meant to run at the start of the game, when the game is loaded, and basically, just noticed one of the audio group's names. But yeah, and it's supposed to add things like the abilities, different responses for like certain things. But yeah. Essentially, the idea is that I wouldn't be able to count all of it. if I tried to count all the lines of code, then I wouldn't be able to count all of it because there's a lot of code. Like even just in this object here, there's like, even in like this thing here, which is to load a 3D asset, there's a lot of code there, and like there are engines that do that for you, right? Like there are engines that do that for you, and you wouldn't count those lines of code as code because you didn't actually create them, you know? Then there's code that's generated, for example, like parts of this are generated, which means that I don't have to rewrite it. Like this section of code in the shader is generated. The attributes also. This part here is this is all generated code. It's not something that... What I'm trying to gauge is your level of experience with managing a project. Yeah, I have experience with self-managed projects, I think. It's probably... but like, it's one of those things where managing a team is very difficult. But I think that's partially because sometimes people in the team... I think it's partially because the things that I've worked on where I've had to manage a team, it's something where the things that I've worked on where I've had to manage a team have been things where there hasn't been motivation by everyone to want to get it done, if you know what I mean, because at the end of the day, if they don't get it done, it's not going to harm them. It's the getting it done, yeah, sure, might be a benefit, but also they've got to manage their own mental health as well, in order to make sure that they don't overwork themselves. And so the managing mental health often takes priority, which I think is good. Make sure you manage your mental health. But like, because of that, there's not, they don't necessarily view it as there being an advantage to getting it done over not getting it done, if that makes sense. Or to put it another way, getting it done doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to benefit, or in their minds, they don't think that they're going to benefit from it in a lot of projects that I've worked on. It's difficult to manage people. And it's also volunteer work, so they've got other commitments that they've got to do, and a lot of things. There's a few projects that I've been on which I've been trying to manage people to be able to do with, and like most of the time the team just falls apart pretty quickly because it's not something where they're forced by profit or something to, or forced by livelihood to get it done. You know what I mean? If you're working for a company, you're forced by livelihood to get it done. And a lot of the projects I've worked on, you're not forced by livelihood. And I don't want to force people by livelihood to get it done. But at the same time, it's a very good motivator. I'd rather... yeah. But then also I do want to pay people. But I can't. Right now. At least not. It's one of those things. It's one of those things. There's not been a lot of new messages in a while, so... I think I should probably, like, start to close up stream. It's been a fun stream. I'm glad I did it. glad I can tell people that whilst I'm not fully okay, I've still got a few things that are wrong with my health. It's something that it's something that's not as bad as like you might think. At least I don't think it is. So I'll be able to manage, and hopefully with like things like roadworks happening outside and things that have been distracting me, I'll be able to get back to creating content that everyone enjoys. And you know, I hope that people will enjoy the content, even though I do want to make things about issues that I think need to be addressed. How does that one go? I can't actually play this one, like, if I added lyrics to this. If I added lyrics to it, YouTube would, copyright systems would pick it up. I know that much. I can't... Why would you think that Kermit would sing? I need my own songs. Actually, here's what we can do. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna... Nope. I think it's F. Oh, wait, no. There we go. This is a copyright-free song, so I know I can sing it. Because I know the person who wrote it. And I've actually made a few, let's say, changes to it. Hold on, I need to, hold on, one second. Going to, properties. I need to add a thing to my mic. Add a... Wait. Press expanded gain. Oh, why is there no reverb? Yeah, I need a why is there no reverb inbuilt? Filters. Add. 3-band equalizer, compressor, expander, gain, invert polarity, limiter, noise gate, noise suppression, outward compressor. There's no reverb. I'm sad. Oh well. You're gonna have to deal with me not being reverbed. Sorry. That's just the way that it is. Which does make it sound a little bit meh. So this one was written by Conspiracy Cats, and I've changed a few of the lyrics. Went the shop to get some pie. What I see up in the sky. Is it a plane, or is it a bird, or is it Brian Tamaki throwing his turds? We got chemtrails on Earth, chemtrails on Venus, that come out of a plane, out of my penis. Chemtrails on Earth, chemtrails on Venus, that come out of a plane, into the air that we're breathing, yeah. When the shop just the other day, I saw some old man, he was really gay. Andrew Tate, he was out of a cell, looked at me and proceeded to yell, have you seen my Bugatti? I was treating women like my property. Then the police came and took me away. As I left, I thought I heard them say, chemtrails on Earth, chemtrails on Venus, to come out of a plane, out of my penis. Chemtrails on Earth, chemtrails on Venus, to come out of a plane, to the air that we're breathing, yeah. I think Discord crashed. That. We shouldn't see chemtrails ever at all. Ah, damn it. We shouldn't see chemtrails ever at all. Sick of screaming off of my bathroom walls. Cause we got chemtrails on Earth, chemtrails on Venus, to come out of a plane, out of my penis. Chemtrails on Earth, chemtrails on Venus, to come out of a plane, to the air that we're breathing. Chemtrails on Earth, chemtrails on Venus, to come out of a plane, they come out of my penis. Chemtrails on Earth, chemtrails on Venus, to come out of a plane, into the air that we're breathing, yeah. They come out of my penis, yeah. They come out of my penis, yeah. Scrape on my bathroom walls. I believe I nailed it. There are a few parts where I was a little bit rusty. When was the last time I sung? I think it was like a few days ago. But yeah, at least I nailed the Andrew Tate part. I changed it from being about flat earthers to being about like random conspiracy people that people will probably recognize a bit more than like Nathan Oakley and Dell. I'll wait for some feedback. Any feedback? Probably needed reverb. I know that. What do I say whilst I'm waiting for? What do I say? I don't know what to say yet. Oh, Bussin needed the Kermit voice. Sounded good. Okay. At least I know that. I do want to kind of actually like make a full version of that song. And it is already a full version, but like maybe add a bit more to it and turn it into like record like a proper version, should I say. And hopefully I know that Conspiracy Cats will be okay with me doing that. He should be. In fact, I'll try to get him in on that. And then I want to like, there's a few songs that I do want to make as well. I want to actually like try to record an entire album. I've mentioned this before, but it's actually really hard to do. Anyway, I think I'll end the stream here. Didn't get as much rants in as I wanted, but you know, people tell me what to rant about, so it's not my fault. It'd be nice to have an idle arc, actually. But yeah. Anyway, leave a like and subscribe if you like this video or like this stream. Leave a comment letting me know what you'd like me to do for future videos. As you know, I've got a document which I'm putting ideas in. Got quite a few ideas for it. And I'm going to like actually try to tick off everything. Only problem is that there's not a lot of Flat Earth in it. Because, you know, Flat Earth is generally reacting to or responding to other Flat Earth videos. That's the easiest way to do Flat Earth content. But yeah. I will see you in the next stream. Or video. Or short. Or whatever. Between you and me, thank you for watching.